Hello iRacers, this is Greg Hill, Executive Producer, and this is our mid-season development update. With just a handful of weeks left to go in Season 4, we're quickly approaching the conclusion of the 2023 competition year, and what a year it's been. Of course, every year at iRacing is unique. It's the nature of our business that the sim and racing service are constantly evolving. However, I can't think of a period that's been more eventful and impactful for the future of sim racing at iRacing than these past 12 months. We have established key new partnerships that will help our brand of motorsport grow at a global scale and reach all new audiences and racing fans. We have strengthened existing partnerships and secured a critical license that will allow us to return to our roots with NASCAR and NASCAR team properties. And of course, throughout all of this, we have invested significantly into the ongoing development and improvement of our great racing simulation and racing service. Now, I do intend to share some of the cool things to come in the Season 1 build, but first let's take a moment to focus on one of the bigger picture developments I alluded to a moment ago. As I touched on in detail in a previous update, a significant focus this year, and last, has been the strategic expansion of our staff across many talented teams. This growth will enable iRacing to operate from a position of strength for years to come and ensure that we will continue to deliver an unparalleled modern simulation experience. On that note, we're thrilled to upgrade our graphics team later this year through the addition of multiple industry-leading rendering programmers who will help evolve iRacing's graphic tech in a way never before seen on this platform. These developers have spent the last 20 years building and leading graphics and rendering teams across a broad spectrum of powerful graphic engines such as idTech, Unity, Unreal, Decima, and Glacier. Our reconstituted graphics team will be more formidable than ever, and we couldn't be more excited about what's to come. This will be a big lift, and in the short term, we will continue improving the current rendering technology and graphics. And now for another big picture update that I know many have been following closely: the status of our advanced new weather system, which we call Tempest internally. While we aren't quite ready to guarantee Tempest for December, we are now confident enough to say that the release of this incredibly complex system is imminent. Tempest was built from the ground up and consists of several interconnected systems that simulate not only rain and the effect that water has on the racetrack, race cars, and surrounding area, but also the physical components that combine to create various types of weather. This system is fueled by extensive real-world data from the very locations where you'll be racing. Together with our dynamic track systems, the combined experience is unparalleled in simulation and gaming. It's hard to describe until you can experience it for yourself, but for those of you who race at these tracks in the real world and have had the fortune, or misfortune, to do so in the wet, reliving that in iRacing with physically accurate and true-to-life puddling is like nothing else out there. You'll feel a tug of resistance when you drive through wet areas, and when things get really dicey, you'll experience aquaplaning. Wait until you see our aero-heavy race cars vacuum up water from the track and redistribute it into the air and elsewhere on the track, drying up the racing line rapidly in the process. Recalibrate your expectation on what a race has in store for you as you search for the line based on the multitude of dynamics.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racing enthusiasts all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. The car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and racing teams. Our skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly racing series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 200,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Participate in solo races, championship seasons, and hosted in league events with AI Racing. With a rapidly expanding catalog of 70 plus cars and 85 plus tracks from real world racing series, test your abilities with challenging computer based competition. Additional partners include IMSA, the World of Outlaws, and Supercars, allowing members to participate in their very own Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, Sebring 12 Hour, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get tonight when we talked about it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV. Welcome to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It is Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder on the first of two. Make that first of four races live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. 3 races on Ultimate Dirt TV, but for now on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and Ultimate Dirt TV. Right up is going to be the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds here tonight, and we come to a track in Braselton, at Lanier National Speedway, as we get ready for what is winter season week number 6, live from Lanier National Speedway. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler with you for the call as we get set again. We're qualifying right now. We'll see 3 heat races and a field of what is 21 drivers signed into the pit area for tonight. So you'll see 3 7-car heat races. 6 laps will be the distance. Everybody will go straight through to the show. However, after the heat race, after qualifying, I should say, the fastest qualifier is going to start from position number 4. So with the 3 heats, the top 3 are going to start from that 4th starting position. So the inversion is going to be 12. And right now, Alex Pomelo is the man that will be starting on pole of heat race number 1. Harold Clump, Scott Ramey, those 2 drivers will also start on pole of the heats 2 and 3 respectively. And then we'll go... we'll take a look at the qualifying results here in just a few moments' time. But we get set right now. Qualifying is done and dusted here at Lanier National Speedway. There is your qualifying results coming up on screen. So it was Brandon Templeton to go quick time with a 14.760. Anthony Morano, Michael Vitale. Those 3 drivers going to come from the 4th starting position in the opening or the 3 heat races here this evening. Speaking of heat races, let's go heat race number 1. Scott Ramey in the 4 will start from position number 1. Kelly Wheeler lines up at a position number 2. Samuel Backman lines up at a position number 3. Brandon Templeton lines up the 31 from position number 4. Randall Dixon rolls off the 011 machine from 5, and the 2H of Hunter Carlson will start position number 6, with Jake Henry driving the 171 Gears Unlimited entry will start position number 7. All right, here we go. Heat race number 1, about to start. In fact, we're already down the front straightaway, and it's Scott Raomi and Kelly Wheeler will lead us down through that first and second turn. Raomi on the inside, Wheeler to the outside. Track is pretty slick right now. Templeton got some company on the inside with the 11 machine of Randall Dixon of lap number 1. We'll go to the Full Throttle Motorsports driver of Scott Raomi. Now Wheeler going to duck it back down to the inside as they work down into turn number 3 and 4. Wheeler right down to the inside near the concrete wall, but it's still Raomi leading from Wheeler. Backman back. They're into position number 3 in the number 7 machine. Dixon getting by Templeton, but Templeton comes back at him just to the right of your screen. And again, Templeton working right through the middle of the racetrack here. Heat race number 1. Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder, the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds here at Lanier National Speedway. Winter season week number 6. Dixon and Templeton still going at it for 4th and 5th position. Templeton went quick time on the evening. They'll come to the white flag. 1 lap left to go for Scott Raomi to start on pole of tonight's 30-lap main event. Is Wheeler still trying to run down the 4 machine of Raomi, but Raomi gets through 1 and 2 nice and smooth, back straight away for the final time into turn number 3. About to come off turn number 4, part of the iRacing flag, but always that check and couldn't complete it, couldn't make anything happen there as heat race number 1 is done. Scott Raomi gets the win over Kelly Wheeler, Samuel Backman, Brandon Templeton, your top 4, Randall Dixon, Fitz, Jake Henry and Hunter Carlson, the 7 drivers in heat race number 1. Heat number 2 lining up like this. It'll be Harold Club in the 76 to the pole position. The 99 of Gavin Chatham lines up at a position number 2. Position number 3 is going to be Butch Baker in the 97 machine. Anthony Morano in the 32. He'll line up at a position number 4. Jeffrey Barker in the 513 will start position number 5. Patrick Spangler in caliber 39 will start position number 6. And Michael Vecchio driving the 007 machine lining up at a position number 7. So we are ready for a start in heat race number 2. 6 laps is the distance again. Everybody transferring to the main event, and well, it's all just about starting positions for the moment. Again, welcome you live on Ultimate Dirt TV, live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. 4 races on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. 3 here on Ultimate Dirt TV. So, well, you've got your iRacing fix covered for the evening as we get ready. Heat number 2, Harold Klump, Gavin Chatham. They'll come off for corner number 4. Klump going to get on the gas. We are racing. They wait for the iRacing green to come out. Then they work it down the front straight away. Chatham trying to go to the outside of the 76 machine of Harold Klump, but Klump leads down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Butch Baker to the inside of Anthony Morano. Patrick Spangler trying to go upstairs, trying to sell some T-shirts while he's up there. Only car to try and go up there at the moment in the opening heat rate. From the opening heat now to the second heat. Spangler into the wall just at the top of your screen. Baker on the inside of Gavin Chatham as they work off turn number 4. Now they'll work off turn number 2. Chatham is going to lose the runner-up position. Baker's got it down into turn number 3. Now Morano's opted to go upstairs. Chatham still stuck on the top side of the racetrack, as is Anthony Morano. Patrick Spangler as well. So look at that, your inside row. 1, 3, and 5, your starting positions of Klump, Baker, and Barker. Well, they now find themselves in first, second, and third. Chatham along with Morano. Morano makes the pass to move into position number 4. Now Morano and Chatham again. They'll go wheel to wheel. Penultimate time here in heat race number 2. Still one more heat race to come. Harold Klump leading the way in car number 76. What can Butch Baker do in car number 97? Can he make the pass? White flag is out. 3/8 of a mile left is all that separates the front row starting position. Klump a little bit sloppy there on the exit of turn number 4. Oh, turn number 2. Baker trying to dive down to the inside, but the checkered flag is going to be out. Heat 2 is done. Let's take a look at your results coming up right now for RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. It's Harold Klump, Butch Baker, Jeffrey Barker, Anthony Morano, Gavin Chatham, your top 5, Patrick Spangler, Michael Vecchio, 6th and 7th. Alex Pomelo in the 397 machine. He will start on the pole position to the outside of the front row. It's the 18 of Logan Wentz. Trevor Garreau lines up the 075 machine from position number 3. Michael Vitale in car number 213 for Gears Unlimited. He will start from position number 4. Bob DeGood driving the Team RWB number 7 machine. He'll start position number 5 in the HPR 81. Matt Schaefer lines up at a position number 6. And Jason Butterfield for Venom Racing and Super Dirt Car Series lines up the 93 from position number 7. Final heat. We'll have a quick warm-up session after this one. It'll be 3 minutes. Of course, well, already played a number of ads here tonight at the start. Just waiting on a few drivers with the new UI issues. So, nonetheless, we got it sorted. And, well, we're in heat race number 3. Pomelo. Pomelo leads. Wentz back there in second spot, right through the middle of the racetrack. Trevor Garreau in that 075 machine. Looking at having a good captain to cook up on the inside. A big slider line there from Logan Wentz. Trying to do something different as now here comes Trevor Garreau to the inside again of Logan Wentz as they work through turn number 1 and 2. Alex Pomelo still your race leader. Wentz, Garreau still sitting in second and third position. Then you go back to Bob DeGood. Michael Vitale and Matt Schaefer having a nice little back there for positions number 5 and 6. And Jason Butterfield not too far away either. So you've got a few battles here in what is heat race number 3. Final heat race of the RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division. Logan Wentz, boy, I'll tell you what, he's driving it deep into the turns, especially in turn number 3 and 4. 3, 1 and 2, he just sticks it right through the middle and he keeps the car nice and straight. However, this time he's going to go to the bottom side through 3 and 4. White flag is out for Alex Pomelo in the 397 machine as he works down through turn number 1 and 2. He gets it nice and smooth. 2 left-hand turns is all that separates a second row starting position on the inside for Alex Pomelo. He'll make his way off corner number 4. Barnum done in heat race number 3. And just like that, we'll quickly go through your results. Alex Pomelo gets the win over Trevor Garreau, Logan Wentz, Bob DeGood, Michael Vitale, Jason Butterfield, and Matt Schaefer. We'll take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Come back with your main event on the other side of this quick commercial break.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
And welcome back to Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder, winter season, week number 6. RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division. Scott Rayomi, Harold Klump line up the front row in tonight's 30-lap main event. Alex Pomelo, Kelly Wheeler will make up the second row. Butch Baker alongside Trevor Garreau in row number 3. Row 4, Samuel Backman and Jeffrey Barker. Row 5, Logan Wentz to the inside, Brandon Templeton to the outside. Row number 6, Anthony Morano inside, outside, Bob DeGood. Row number 7, Randall Dixon and Gavin Chatham. Row number 8, Michael Vitale and Jake Henry. Row number 9, Patrick Spangler alongside Jason Butterfield, Hunter Carlson and Michael Vecchio in the 10th row with Matt Schaefer in the 21st starting position. Lights are out. RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds here tonight from Lanier National Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get dirty for 30 here in tonight's main events. It'll be Rayomi and Klump. It's going to be Rayomi leading the way. Ryomi out in front will lead the opening lap. Wheeler and Pomelo hold on to now what is second and third position, but here comes Harold Club, Butch Baker. Make the record, Butch Baker. I think Baker got a win here a couple of seasons ago in the modified division here at this very racetrack. So can you keep an eye on the 97 car? See what he can do in this one. Gilroy now working back behind the 97 of Baker as there goes the 7 car up the inside of Samuel Backman now. Backman Baker working wheel to wheel and fender to fender off the turn number 4, nearly 3 wide with Harold Crop on the outside. They'll go 3 wide down into turn number 1 and 2. Oh boy, the RSN trackside 358 modifieds. They're really starting to take liking to Lanier National Speedway. Meanwhile, the opening 4 laps, Scott Ryomi, he is a man on a mission right now. One upstairs, that is Trevor Garreau in the 075 machine. Clump getting past there by the 18 car of Logan Wentz, Anthony Morano coming up the club. Watching Backman along in the 7 machine along with the 97 of Butch Baker as they work side by side again once again through turn number 1 and 2. We're already 5. We're going to make it 6 laps in, and just like that, bang, 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 no chitties here. It's just straight up racing here at Lanier National Speedway. Alex Pomelo still holds on to position number 3. Logan Wentz closing into the back of the 7 machine of Samuel Backman looking for a top 5 just behind that, just to the right of your screen. Now make it to the left. The 32 car of Anthony Morano. He got by Harold Clark. Remember, Harold Clark picked up a heat race victory and he started on the outside of the front row of tonight's main event. But boy, I tell you what, Logan Wentz, he's found a rhythm right now, right through the middle of the racetrack, but he opens up the inside line for Anthony Morano to have a good Captain Cook straight up on the inside. Morano and Wentz, they'll now go wheel to wheel. 7/10 of a second lead for Scott Ryomi, watching Wentz and Morano again still go side by side. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, 9 down, 21 to go. The RSN trackside 358 modifieds. They are working a treat. Here at Lanier National Speedway, 1/3 of the race distance is completed under the green flag conditions. Backman's got some company as Logan Wentz closing in. Logan Wentz gets to the outside, and Logan Wentz has found a way to go to position number 5. Backman now slips outside the top 5. He'll go to 6th position. Morano just going to say, well, you know what? I'll take a look at the 18 machine. He's got a line figured out. I'll follow him now. Brendan Templeton does the same thing as does the 513 car of Jeffrey Parker. And our first yellow of the evening. Well, just like that. Our first yellow of the evening. And it comes in after what will now be 12 laps completed. Your RSN trackside 358 modified division winner season week number 6. And don't forget, there's still plenty of action live to come here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We've still got the catalytic recovery big block modifieds to come right here on Ultimate Dirt TV. But then, of course, after that, we've still got the Pro Late Models. Travis Piercefield will have the action for that one, and then he'll wrap up the night with the NASCAR Xfinity cars heading to Rockingham Speedway for what should be 85 laps in distance. And boy, I tell you what, there's another big night here on the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder with Travis Piercefield. Lights are out, I think, next time by. Nope, they're out now. Ryomi, well, he's had the majority of this one out in front. No real pressure once that 4 machine has found a way to get clear, but here we go. He'll once again stand on the gas, and we're back underway. The Full Throttle Motorsports number 4 machine of Scott Ryomi leads the field. Now Baker with a run on the outside of Alex Pomelo. Baker's found a way to get to position number 3. Now trying to come up to Kelly Wheeler. He just has to get off the throttle a little bit, otherwise he would have turned the 11 car of Wheeler. Wentz and Morano again just to the right of your screen. They were side by side through 1 and 2, but Wentz now going to come after Alex Pomelo as he upstairs goes the 7 machine of Samuel Backman. Morano and Wentz again, they continue their battle for what has been probably the last 6 or 7 laps. Those two drivers have gone at it, and you can even throw in, look at this 3 wide to the right of your screen, clump through the middle, Backman upstairs, and Brandon Templeton down to the low side, B-Tep. The dirt track back number 31 machine went quick time here this evening. Oh, Moo challenges up for second. New second place at the start-finish line. Wheeler made a mistake and it was Butch Baker to go on by. So if the yellow comes out, the spot would go to Butch Baker. Wheeler trying to fight back on the inside. Here comes Alex Pomelo. Wheeler slides up. Pomelo turns it underneath off the turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. And just like that, we've got 12 to run. Next time by. Past half race distance here in your main event. Morano has made somewhat. It's taken him a little bit to get by the 18 car of Logan Wentz, but Morano now coming after Pomelo. Harold Club, he's fighting back in that 76 machine. Back to the 7 of Samuel Backman, I should say, position number 8, Brandon Templeton, Randy Dixon. Remember the opening heat races? These two guys went under for that 4th and 5th position. Now they're going to resume what is a delayed battle between those two guys late in this one. And just like that, folks, we're 20 down. 10 laps left to run the 171 car. I think that's Jake Henry, it is. And because he's off somewhat in the pits, we are going to stay green. Michael Vecchio to the pits as well. Unlucky for the 007 machine, so we've still got 19 cars still on the lead lap. Watching Templeton and Clump again. Templeton trying to make the pass on the 76 entry of Harold Clump. Back up a little further in this field. There is Kelly Wheeler holding on to the final spot of the podium, but you've got a heat race distance left to run. 8 circuits around the National Speedway for the 4 car of Scott Rayomi to get a win. Here in the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division. And he has got the 1.3 second lead. Looking at times on the last lap time by, he is a 10th of a second quicker than Butch Baker. He's basically got a 10th of a second on the field on the previous lap, and now with 6 to run. Again, he's still in the mid 14 second, although he just lost a 10th of a second, because now Butch Baker's starting to find something. Logan Wentz still trying to come after the 32 car. I feel like these two guys have been somewhat beside each other or in close proximity for what has been the last 15 laps or so. Everybody's still working right through the middle of the racetrack in turn number 3 and 4, and they're somewhat downstairs, and in fact they're just right above the apron all the way around the National Speedway. It's now a 1.5, 1.6 second gap for Scott Rayomi with just 3 laps left to run as he comes across the start-finish line. Wheeler again holding on to the final spot of the podium, and again, here comes Alex Pomelo. Pomelo has to try something different, and with that being done, he actually opened up the door for Anthony Morano to potentially pick up another spot. Morano and Pomelo side by side, 2 to run at the line. Your race leader is already down the back straightaway for the penultimate time. Let's take a look at your leader off turn number 4. White flag is out. He gets to the start-finish line. We'll race it out to the very end. He gets through turn number 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time into corner number 3. And about to come off corner number 4. Your RSN Trackside 358 Modified main event winner is Scott Rayomi. A wonderful, wonderful victory here for Scott Rayomi in the feature event. Let's take a look at your official results coming up on screen. Scott Rayomi gets the win over Butch Baker, home in second. Third will go to Kelly Wheeler at the line from Alex Pomelo. 4th, Anthony Morano makes up your top 5. Logan Wentz in 6th, Samuel Backman in 7th, Harold Clump 8th, Randall Dixon 9th, Brandon Templeton going to make up your top 10. We'll go 11th through the 20th. They'll look like this. Michael Vitale in 11th. Jeffrey Barker in 12th. Trevor Garreau 13th. Matt Schaefer in 14th. Patrick Spangler in 15th. And you go back to Gavin Chatham in 16th. Bob DeGood 17th. Jason Butterfield 18th. And the last car on the lead lap, Hunter Carson 1 lap down in 19th. Michael Vecchio back in the pits. 12 laps down after only completing what is 18. And then we'll go over the page to Jake Henry, home in what is going to be 21st place, some 13 laps down. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead. We're not even going to wait for third and second as we've already got your winner here tonight. Scott Rayomi, your winner of the RSN Trackside 358 Modified. Scott, congratulations on a victory. And I'm going to say, that was a dominating victory, man, from start to finish. One caution, and you showed the boys how to get it done.
Yeah, man, a little bit of history right there because I've been only on iRacing for 3 years and done a lot of leagues, and that's the first time I've ever won a league race. So that's I'm not gonna lie, I'm shaking a little bit. Got a little good bit of goosebumps there.
Let's go right back to the start. You get the jump, and then you drive away. You don't really have to deal with lap traffic all that much, but a yellow comes out after you had, I think it was about a 1.2, 1.3 second lead. What goes through your mind when you get that yellow, knowing that, you've got a hungry bunch of field of drivers just waiting to pounce on you to make that mistake?
Well, I might have swore a little bit when that yellow came out because it's definitely not something I wanted to see. But I knew at least this time with me being able to start the race rather than it being on green, I might be able to edge out in front of Kelly and be able to come up off the corners and catch that little strip right along the straightaway wall, where it's just really where I was setting myself up for the corners, just easing off the gas and then easing back into the throttle coming off. And that's really all you can do on a slick track like this at Lanier. And it's probably one of my better tracks. Not very good at many of them, but this is probably one of the better ones that I'm at.
Well, what does it mean to you to now pick up a victory here with the Gamble Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division with Coast to Coast? What does this mean to you, a victory here tonight at Lanier?
Oh man, it's huge. It's such a boost of confidence. I know I've had speed really since Christmas time. I've had speed, but it's just being able to put everything together and finally get the results for it.
Scott, we're on the victory here tonight in the RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division. Before we let you go and somewhat take a little celebration before we get ready for the Catalytic Recovery Big Box, I'm sure there's a lot of people, a lot of sponsors you want to thank on this race car, mate.
Yeah, first and foremost, I got to thank my fiance Heather. She got me a new PC for Christmas, and I mean that really made a huge difference. All the guys over at Full Throttle Motorsports. I'm one of the original guys over there. We brought in hell of a lot of good drivers and respectful drivers. So they've done so much work over there to help me get to where I'm at. Dean at Super Dirt Car, again, I wish he was here tonight to help me celebrate with this one. Swan Speed Shop, go there for all your open sets. DJs for the rap. And I don't know, I don't do these very often, so I don't have anything written down or rehearse, so forgive me for anybody that I might have missed.
Scott, hopefully we get to chat to you another time very shortly here on the Big Block Modifieds. But congratulations on your 358 Modified win here at Lanier National Speedway. Well done.
Thanks, Brett.
Scott Rayomi, your winner in the 358 Modifieds. We'll chat to the man that comes home in second place. It's the 97 car of Butch Baker. And Butch, well, second spot, buddy. You had to work for that one, but tell you what, you had an opportunity late in that one, but Scott just a little bit too good in the air there in the end, and well, you have to settle for second spot.
Yeah. I just I didn't have anything for him. I was just trying not to let him get too big of a gap, but it was good. Good run. I was glad to come home second. I needed the points.
Could you have done anything differently throughout the course of that race to make yourself just a little bit better to maybe be that one step higher up on this podium?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I thought about trying to maybe run just a little bit higher and tried working the throttle a little bit, but I just couldn't get the consistency I needed to gain any ground on him. Like I said, I don't. He got like 1.2 seconds in front of me, and I don't think I really fell back too much after that. But I don't. That was about all I could do.
Well, Butch, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 97 car.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, well, first I gotta thank you, Brett, for doing the broadcast. You always do a phenomenal job. Got to thank everybody at Coast to Coast Racing, all the admins, everybody behind the scenes. Got to thank all my teammates over at Venom Racing for supporting me, and we always support each other. Those guys are amazing. Got to thank Dean for the Super Dirt Car Series. He's always backing us and supporting us. And got to thank my wife who lets me do this, and this one goes out to my brand new baby boy who was just born on the 9th. So this one was for Barry.
Congratulations. Well done on second spot. We'll see you back shortly with the big blocks.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
We go Butch Baker in second spot. Home in third place tonight. It's going to be Kelly Wheeler. And Kelly, third place here tonight. I guess, how would you summarize that feature event?
I didn't hear you.
I said third place. Well done. How would you summarize the feature event?
I got pretty lucky. It was a good race.
Track looked pretty locked down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Late in that race, we've seen a couple of drivers sort of move up just a fraction, just a little bit. Were you comfortable down on the bottom side?
Yeah, that's where I tried to stay the whole race because I knew it's going to be hard to get past.
How tough is it when the track gets slick like this, from the very get-go, basically from the opening heat race of the night, to right through to the back end of this feature race? How difficult is it, to control these cars when you got to keep the car as straight as possible and not get yourself loose and potentially spin out in front of the field?
Well, I guess that's where it takes to learn more throttle control. Barely get on the gas and try to keep it straight as you can.
Well, congratulations on the third place finish. Before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved.
I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. That means a lot to me. I want to thank DNS Siding and Remodeling, Ingersoll Rand Incorporated. I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing for giving us a good place to race. And I want to thank you for broadcasting and doing what you do.
Well done on third place. We'll see you back shortly in the big block modifieds.
Thank you, sir.
Kelly Wheeler home in position number 3. Let's get them back to where they belong. If I can just get it there. Hang on one moment. We are just in the middle because I hate moving people out and then not moving them back. Oh, there we go. They move themselves. All right. Well, RSN Trackside 358 Modified Division is done, which means we have got the catalytic recovery big block modifieds to come here in just a few short moments' time. So what we'll do, we'll take this opportunity, step aside here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Back in just a few moments' time with the catalytic recovery big block modifieds live from Lanier National Speedway. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Dirt TV. Coverage of the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Series live tonight from the Lanier National Speedway for what is winter season, week number 6. Again, we're not too far away. We've just come off the RSN trackside 358 modifieds, where it was won by the forker of Scott Rayo. We will see if he can back it up once again here in the catalytic recovery big block modified series. Well, time will tell, because we've got another good field of drivers to contend with here this evening. And again, we're just waiting for race control just to give us the signal, and well, it will be done. And we'll get ready for qualifying here in just a few short moments' time. We're looking at a field of what is going to be, should be 24 drivers in total. In fact, it might even be 21 or 22, because I know we've got a number of drivers that, well, they signed in, but they might be just having some issues. So what we're going to do, we're going to take another quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. As soon as we come back, as soon as we can hear that we are ready to roll into qualifying, we will be right back. And we'll be able to show you all the live action live right here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Dare TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We have a field of what is 25 drivers signed into the pits tonight. So we're going to see a total of what will be 3 heat races on the program. In fact, it should be 4 with 25 cars. It's 25 cars here tonight for the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modified Series. 6 laps in distance. Once again, top 4 will go through to the main event. Everybody else will go through to the last chance qualifiers. We get set right now. Let's take a look at your starting lineup for what is going to be heat race number 1. It's going to be Harold Klump on the pole position, Jeffrey Barker from position number 2, Gavin Chatham from position number 3. Your feature into the 358 modified will start from position number 4. That's Scott Rayomi. Then you go back to position number 5. It'll be Trevor Garrow in this 075 machine. The 75 of Stephen Pixel lines up at a position number 6, and Butch Baker was scheduled to line up at a position number 7. However, he has not made it, so we're going to go racing here in heat race number 1. And the lights are out. Klump and Barker. Klump and Barker, green flag is out, we're underway. It's going to be Klump, Barker, Chatham, Rayomi now, still working to the top side, and Chatham goes up the inside. We're still in a pretty slick racetrack right now, much to like what we've seen, not as slick as what we've seen in the 358 modified division, thanks to RSN trackside. Rayomi now going to pick up not 1 but 2 positions there on the exit of turn number 2, and Rayomi continuing on with the good form as of late right now. He moves to position number 2, but Chatham will go back to the outside, and they'll go side by side. Meanwhile, Barker trying to send it upstairs, trying to sell some t-shirts and make a name. Trevor Garrow goes to the inside of Barker, down into 1 and 2. Your leader is Klopp, then you've got two car battles right now. Rayomi and Chatham battling for what is 2nd and 3rd position at the start-finish line. 2 laps left to run, and Trevor Garrow was battling with Jeffrey Barker, and Garrow just gets clear of Barker by about 2 car lengths as again they work off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Chatham has found a run on the outside of the racetrack. Rayomi still got it at the start-finish line. Boy, this is going to be very tight here in heat race number 1. Who will it be? We know Harold Klump is just going to put 2 left-hand turns together into 3 and 4. Klump is going to win. Chatham, Rayomi, Chatham in the on the outside. Oh, very close. Very close at the line. 6/1000th of a second, I believe it is. Heat number 1. Harold Klump gets the win over Gavin Chatham. Gets it by a few 1,000th of a second. What is going to be 35 1,000th of a second over Scott Rayomi, Trevor Garrow. Those 4 drivers lock in for Barker, Bixler and Baker. Well, off to the B main they go. Heat number 2 will line up like this. Jake Henry will start on pole position in the 171 machine. Kelly Wheeler finished 3rd in the 358 modifieds. He'll start from position number 2 in the 110 machine. We go back to the 3rd starting spot. It's nice to see this guy back to the Dirt Track Bank. Got your 6 Racing Network. 218 entry of Kurt Shatter will start from 3. And he's outside driving the DTB, the Dirt Track Bank. Car number 31. Brandon Templeton will start from 4. Ruh-roh, it's Scooby-Doo. Zach Chapman lines up the 72 from 5. And Anthony Morano in car 32 will start from position number 6. Lights are out. Safety car is about to go infield, and we are racing here at Lanier National Speedway. Jake Henry and Kelly Wheeler. Henry's on the inside, Wheeler's on the outside. Lap number 1 will go to Jake Henry. They continue to put laps in here at Lanier National Speedway. It's still Henry and Wheeler as they work off turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Templeton in the 31 machine closing in. Poor old Zach Chapman, he's back in the pits, not sure what happened to him. There was an opportunity there for Brandon Templeton to go to the inside to make it 3 wide, but unfortunately he just couldn't make that pass. He needed to be a little closer. They work through 3 and 4. We've just got 2 laps left to run. And I'll tell you what, the Gears Unlimited 171 machine of Jake Henry. Well, I tell you what, he put four and a half solid laps together. Wheeler and Templeton side by side for second and third. And now that's going to bring in Anthony Morano in the 32 machine to make it a three-way dance for the minor places. And those top four drivers you see on screen at the moment, they've got transfer positions locked down. They just need to keep it there into 3 and 4. Templeton down to the inside. Wheeler drives it deep into turn number 3 and 4. Checkers around. Jake Henry in race number 2. Well done, Jake. Second will go to Brandon Templeton. Third of the line, Kelly Wheeler, Anthony Morano home in fourth. Kurt Schatzer and Zach Chapman will make up the 5th and 6th drivers in heat race number 2. Your catalytic recovery, Big Block Modifieds, Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder, winter season week number 6. Heat number 3, we'll see Michael Vecchio in the 007 machine to the pole position. Patrick Spangler, car 39, will start from position number 2. Alex Pomelo in the 397, he'll start from position number 3 in the 007. Samuel Backman lines up at a position number 4. Matt Schaefer in the 81 for HBR will line up at a position number 5, and I don't believe he's here, but if he is, Connor Ross will start the 35 from position number 6. In what is going to be now heat race number 3 of 4. Waiting for a start. Here we go, green flag is out. We're underway. Penultimate heat of the night. Lap 1 in the books. The 007 machine of Michael Vecchio leads the way. Pomelo, Spangler into the wall. Vecchio, Pomelo, 1 and 2 as they go through 1 and 2 upstairs. You've got Spangler and Samuel Backman. Tell you what, Spangler still trying to make it work on the outside of the raceway. Still persisting with the top side. Now, nearly here comes Samuel Backman in the 007 machine to the inside. Heat race number 3 here at Linear National Speedway. Catalytic recovery, Big Block Modifieds. Pomelo again. Now he's got some company one more time, but the white flag is already out. Michael Vecchio continues to lead the way. Here comes Spangler with the run on the outside of turn number 2. Who will it be? It's going to be Michael Vecchio. Second line, Alex Pomelo. Good job by Alex. Patrick Spangler 3rd. Samuel Backman 4th. And Matt Schaefer to round out the top 5. And then, of course, Connor Ross did not make the start of that one. He was a DNS in that one. So top 4 going through to the main event. Here goes heat race number 4. It's going to look like this. Bob DeGood on pole position in car number 7. Randall Dixon in the 11 will line up at a position number 2. The 2-1-3, Michael Vitale lines up at a position number 3 in the 18 of Logan Wentz will start position number 4. Gary Offit lines up the 94 from 5, and from 6 it's the 93 entry of Jason Butterfield. Final heat race of the night for the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modified Series here from Lanier National Speedway. We're ready for a start. Heat race number 4. Who will get the job done? 4 starting positions in this one up for grabs. Green flag is out. We are underway here in heat number 4, and it's going to be Dixon to the outside. Logan Wentz, slider there from Bob DeGood on Dixon. And now here comes the Gears Unlimited 213 car of Michael Vitale to the inside of Randall Dixon in that 011 machine. Meanwhile, Jason Butterfield trying to come after Logan Wentz for the final transfer position. Remember, top 4 will go straight through to the main event. Everybody else, well, they'll have to go through to the consolation race. Wentz, Dixon to the middle of the raceway. Wentz right upstairs, right near the concrete, right rear, nearly in the marbles upstairs, right in the front. He's stumping. Raleigh's got the tub out. Nearly 3 wide as they go through turn number 1. Wentz has now picked up position number 3, now trying to get second over Michael Vitale. And I'll tell you what, if the 18K is as good as what he has been the last 2 laps, he may just challenge Bob DeGood for a race win here in heat race number 4. DeGood still stuck down to the low side of the racetrack. You just get the feeling right now that Logan Wentz is going to pull a miracle. He'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. They'll come to the white flag. 1 lap left to go. DeGood, Wentz, nearly side by side. Wentz with a run on the outside of turn number 2. Who's it going to be down the back straightaway? He pulls alongside him down into 3 and 4. Oh, photo finish coming up. DeGood and Wentz. Wentz on the outside. DeGood on the inside. Oh my, what a finish here in heat race number 4. Oh, 62 1,000ths of a second, and Logan Wentz gets the win. I called it on lap 3 or 4 that he's going to have a chance to get the win, and that's exactly what he does. DeGood, Vitale, and Dixon will go through to the show. Less than half a second separate your top 4. Butterfield often, unfortunately, off to a B main. They go. And speaking of B mains, well, they're on the racetrack right now. 8 laps. Moving the distance, and the top 8 are going to go through. So let's take a look at just starting the lineup, and it's looking like all these drivers, in fact, are going to go through because there's 9 here, but I'm pretty sure 2 of them are not gridded. So Jeffrey Barker, Kurt Schatzer on the front row, Matt Schaefer, Jason Butterfield in row number 2, Stephen Bixler and Zach Chapman in row 3. Connor Ross not here. Take him out. Here's a scratch. Gary Offit will start on the 4th row by himself, and Butch Baker is also a scratch. So we've got 7 cars, 8 laps, and everybody's going to transfer. Now, the reason why we run a B main is because of just the simple fact there was actually 9 cars registered. So just in case that they had some sort of issues with, the computer or whatnot, the lovely world of technology. If they have an issue with a PC, steering wheel, something like that, it'll allow them to load back into the server. However, I can tell you out of the 9 you see on the screen, it's going to cut to 7. So right now, these guys, they are just going to race for position. But I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for this one. After what we just seen there in the last couple of heat races with the top side coming in, keep an eye on Zach Chapman in the 72, the Scooby-Doo machine. He's going to go upstairs, and along with the 218 machine of Kurt Schatzer. Lap number 1 belongs to Jeffrey Barker on the inside of the race from the pole position, right through the middle. Goes Kurt Schatzer. Meanwhile, Zach Chapman gets by Matt Schaefer for position number 4, and Jason Butterfield stuck there right there in the middle of the sand with the dirt track bank. Got your 6 Racing Network 218 machine is now coming after the Mega Ponding 513 Bilstein entry of Jeffrey Buck as they work down into 3 and 4. Speaking of 3s, they'll make their way off turn number 4 with 3 down, 5 to 1. Schatzer again. Now Chapman around the outside of the Scooby-Doo machine, but the battle is on for the race. Lead first and second. Barker and Schatzer off turn number 4, and Barker's got on at the start-finish line by probably half to 3/4 of a car length. But I'll tell you what, that outside line is really working a treat right now as here comes Schatzer. Chapman driving it deep right into the marbles and trying to get a run. He's nearly one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. In fact, he just pulled the quickest lap time by over a 1/10 of a second. A 14.551 for Zach Chapman. And I'll tell you what, the Scooby-Doo machine, boys, I think is coming. Schatzer to the outside of Barker. And again, it's a drag race, but it's going to be Kurt Schatzer who leads down into turn number 3. You just never know who is going to win this one. And I think Schatzer had it at the start-finish line again in what could be another photo finish off for turn number 2 down the back straightaway for the final time. Schatzer still going to run the consistent line that he's been running all night long here in the B main. At the line, again, it's up the Boy, there is nothing in it between these drivers. Consolation results coming up. Kurt Schatzer gets the win. A little over a 1/10 of a second. Jeffrey Barker, Zach Chapman, Jason Butterfield, Matt Schaefer, Stephen Bixler, and Gary Offit all going to the show. We'll take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Come back with your main event on the other side of these quick commercial breaks.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
And we are back here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Catalytic Recovery, Big Block Modifieds here tonight from Lanier National Speedway. Let's take a look at your starting grid. Brett Wheeler here with you for the call. Harold Klump and Jake Henry on the front row. Row number 2, Michael Vecchio alongside Logan Wentz. Row 3, Gavin Chatham and Brandon Templeton. Row number 4, we'll see Alex Pomelo alongside Bob DeGood. Row 5, Scott Ryomi and Kelly Wheeler. Row number 6, Patrick Spanger and Michael Vitale. Row 7, Trevor Garreau, Anthony Morano. Row 8, Samuel Backman and Randall Dixon. Row number 9, Kurt Schatzer and Jeffrey Barker. Row 10, Zach Chapman and Jason Butterfield. And row 11 is going to be Matt Schaefer and Stephen Pixler. Continue Gary Offit, Connor Ross in the 23rd and 24 starters. They are not here, so they are scratching in tonight's main event. But right now it is time to go racing. Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder. Winter Season Week number 6. Catalytic Recovery, Big Block Modifieds. Let's get dirty for 30 here in the main event of the Big Blocks. And it's going to be Harold Klump to get the early jump over Jake Henry and the rest of the field. Vecchio works to the inside as we see Logan Wentz. He raced number 4, winner just to work into the outside. It's Vecchio. Oh, Wentz Templeton comes through 4 wide, 3 wide. Oh no, Logan Wentz, and just like that it all comes unstuck. Logan Wentz in the 18 brings on the caution for the first time, and it was just all sorts of pandemonium. Checkups and just trying to dive every which way possible. Unfortunately, Logan Wentz goes around. So he will go back to the pits, and we'll come back to the green flag here in just a few moments' time. Here we are, lights are out. Safety car is in for the Steve King Foundation safety car. Back to green we go, Harold Clump. So we're 2 down and 28 to go. Chatham immediately steps upstairs into turn number 1 and 2. Jake Henry, nice drive at the moment here, and he raced in your feature event. Get a nice drive in early on, and he raced number 2. Now problems here for Brandon Templeton, as Templeton was trying to stick it to the inside of Michael Vecchio, and now Alex Pomeroy's going to go to the outside. Here come your RSN trackside 358 feature winner, Scott Rayomi in front of Patrick Spangler. Both drivers step upstairs in 3 and 4 in 7th and 8th position. Spangler trying to make it work on the outside of Scott Rayomi, but look at this battle 2 by 2 right now. Chatham and Vecchio. Oh no, Templeton, Pomelo, Templeton around, Pomelo around. Templeton keeps it going. No, he doesn't. Hard into the concrete wall. Just a bit of a miff and barge, and unfortunately, well, tough break for 2 drivers that were sitting inside the top 5. A very, very tough break for some of these drivers. And you just hate to see it, as these guys are just starting to get into a rhythm. So who can finish up here in the main event? Who will get the job done? And Harold Club, these yellows keep coming out, and they get, the 2, 3, 4, 5 lap runs. There is a very, very good chance right now that Harold Club has a chance at taking out tonight's big block modified, thanks to catalytic recovery. Lights are out on the Steve King Foundation safety car. We're coming back to the green flag off turn number 4. Work down through 1 and 2, and Paul Jake Henry's going to move outside of a podium position. Vecchio just got into the back of Spangler. Spangler going to make it 4-1 on the outside. Now they're going 3-1 down the front straightaway. Spangler again trying to drive somewhat of a sprint car line. 3 wide chats on the inside. Vecchio through the middle in the 007 machine. Spangler upstairs. Chatham as well. Working to the top of the racetrack. Scott Rayomi, and have a look at Kelly Wheeler coming down to the inside of Jake Henry in the 110 machine. Henry in the 171. Chatham and Rayomi side by side for second and third, and two of the podium drivers. Boy, I tell you what, they're almost trying to get trying to back it up and get another podium. we continue to put another lap in the books, and Spangler just squeezed up on the outside of Jake Henry. Spangler looking to move into position number 4, but Henry not wanting to give up the position just yet. Then you go back to Kurt Schatz and Michael Vecchio. Michael Vitale in there as well. Trevor Garreau, Randall Dixon, they're all coming at it right now. Oh no, problems, the 007. He'll stop on the back straightaway. Yellow will come out. Michael Vecchio brings us under caution. There was contact with Trevor Garreau. They're on lap number 11. So lap 11 sees yet the caution flag once again. Don't forget, still to come later on tonight, you've got the Pro Late Models here from Linear National Speedway. Then the NASCAR Xfinity cars go and travel to Rockingham Speedway. That should be a very interesting race in itself. So Travis Piercefield should have the call for that one, I believe. So looking forward to that one. But again, who will take out tonight's catalytic recovery big block modified series here from Linear National Speedway? Time will tell as we get ready to go back racing once again off turn number 4. The Steve King Foundation safety car is in, and we are back underway with Harold Klopp, your race leader, to complete lap number 11 and start lap number 12. And Rayomi looking to go back to back here in modified competitions. It's been a while since we've seen it done. I believe the last guy to do it was Isaac Sellis, or maybe even Anthony Morano. Spangler now going to follow Gavin Chatham to the top of the racetrack. Wheeler got Schatzer and Henry working middle and bottom behind them in that number 110 machine. Then Michael Vitale, and now Trevor Garreau going to the top side. Henry comes up in front of Garreau. They make contact. Dixon, Garreau around. He'll stop on the front straight away. Yellow will come out just as we were approaching half race distance. Jason, you just get the feeling right now that the intensity is starting to build. As everybody fights for position. And it will all boil down to who will make the correct move at the right time. A big happy birthday to Amy. I doubt she's watching, but if she is, happy birthday. Lights are out, ready for a restart here in catalytic recovery. Big block modified competition. We are ready to go back racing off for turn number 4. And it's going to be Harold Clump to lead us to the green flag once again here in A main competition. Clump, Rayomi now half race distance at Harold Clump so far. He's driven the race of his life at the moment. But again, here comes Rayomi working through the middle. Now Patrick Spangler. He's opting for a different line to try and get by the 99 car of Gavin Chatham. Maybe just thinking it's not working enough up there. Spangler through the middle. Wheeler has found his way back to position number 5. Then we go back to Schatz and Vitale. Henry, Chapman and Barker make that Butterfield and challenging Barker for 10th and 11th position. Watching Spangler on screen now. Whoa, let's keep an eye on Scott Rayomi because here he comes. He's found a different line now, looking to get to the outside of the 76 car. You challenge for the leaders on right now down the back straightaway. Clump to the low side once again. Working a treat right down to the low side, right on the apron. Now a lane off the apron. Still the left front tyres just sitting there on the apron. Very slick down there right now. We'll come to 11 laps left to run. Can Harold Clump, can he hold on for a victory here in Catalytic Recovery, Big Block Modified Competition, Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder Winter Season, week number 6, and it is all happening. That is quite a long tongue twister. Oh my God! Shaver was coming down the racetrack trying to get to the pits with 10 to go. Right down in front of your leaders, and boy, if I'm Scott Rayomi and Harold Clump, I'm taking a deep breath on that one. That one actually scared the backside out of me. Oh my, what a way. What a way just to get the heart rate pumping just a little bit. So what will be 10 laps left to run. Does Clump opt to change lines? Or does he continue on with what has been working for him so far? Because if I'm Harold Clump, and well, if I've got anyone else in this race right now, I'll be desperately asking where the fastest line is. And you just know out in front, you're a sitting duck. You never know what's fast. You never know if it's good unless you're actually pulling away from the competition. Come back to green. Steve King Foundation safety car is back to the infield, and Harold Clump 10 to run here at Linear National Speedway. Clump, Rayomi and Spangler 1, 2 and 3. They all went to the low side. There are the opening 2 turns. Gavin Chatham back in 4th position. He'll send it back upstairs. Meanwhile, he'll have Kurt Schatzer to contend with down to the inside as they work off turn number 4. Again, just keep an eye on that gap between Clump and Rayomi. If it gets under 2/10 of a second, you know we're in for an absolute barn burner of a finish. And well, you know what, I think we're going to be in for that right now. Watching Clump on screen right now. Rayomi trying a very, very different line into turn number 1 and 2. Clump looks good, I gotta say. Down to the inside, 7 to run at the start-finish line. In the 76. Will the nerves get to? Will there be enough pressure here from Scott Rayomi to go back-to-back here at Linear National Speedway? Boy, we're set for a good one. Clump still your race leader. 6 laps left to go here in the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modified Series main event. Rayomi with a run down the back straightaway. Clump still glued to the inside of the raceway. The left front tyres. The left front tyre, I should say, it was glued to the apron through 3 and 4, and it's there, right there again, once again in turn number 1 and 2. They'll come to 4 to run, and the 4 car of Rayomi, he's found what could be the race-winning line. He'll pull alongside. Clump for the race lead down into turn number 1 and 2. 3.5 to go. Clump has got the momentum down the back straight away. Now, speaking of momentum, here comes the 39 car Spangler trying to close in on the battle for a three-way dance. And I'm going to say 3 to run. Clump and Rayomi. What a battle you've got. Rayomi's got it down the back straight away. Rayomi, can Clump fight back on the inside? Yes, he can off the turn number 4. Oh boy, a few 1,000th of a second, and Rayomi's got it down through turn number 1 and 2. That could be the race-winning move. Clump has led 27 laps so far in the main event, and the final 3 laps are just starting to slip away. Rayomi protects the bottom side. Meanwhile, Schatzer coming after Patrick Spangler. White flag is out. 1 lap left to go. In fact, 2 left-hand turns. Scott Rayomi, double them up, double down. Scott Rayomi wins the main event. Oh, wow. What the final 6 laps we have just witnessed here at Linear National Speedway. And Scott Rayomi, he picked up his first feature win with the 358 modifieds, and just like that, he goes back to back. Here at Linear, Rayomi will win from Harold Clump in second. Kurt Schatzer steals third there in the dying stages of that main event over Patrick Spangler. He'll come home fourth. Gavin Chatham to round out your top 5. Kelly Wheeler, Michael Vitale, Jake Henry, Zach Chapman, Jason Butterfield. That's your top 10. 11th through to 20th, Logan Wentz, Anthony Morano, Samuel Backman, Alex Pomelo, Jeffrey Barker, 15th. 16th, Trevor Garreau. 17th, Bob DeGood, Stephen Bixler, Matt Schaefer, Randall Dixon. 12 laps down in 20th position. Then we go back to Michael Vecchio, Brandon Templeton. That was the 22 starters with Gary Alford, Connor Ross, both drivers credited with a did not start. Wow. 358 modified, started off with an absolute banger, and then it finished with an absolute banger again here in the main event. As we wait for your winner, and he is already out of the car, and not only did he pick up his first one, his first feature in just some 45 minutes ago, and he will go back to back here at Lanier National Speedway. Catalytic recovery, big block modified. In fact, you know what? Let's grab third place here in just a moment. He was here. There he is. Let's go and chat to third place driver of Kurt Schatzer. Kurt, congratulations on the third place finish here tonight. And boy, you took the third spot there away from Patrick there on the dying stage of that one. You got to be happy overall with the third place finish here tonight.
Yeah, Brett, real happy with this one. It was a fun track. I mean, it got slicked up. I mean, at times the top seemed like it was working, but majority of the race, the bottom was where to be. And I was just trying to be patient and wait till somebody slid up off the bottom and I could kind of slip on in there. And Patrick gave me that last one there, that podium there. I got to thank him on that one. I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but I'll take it. And definitely good hard charge from coming from the back.
Okay, what was it like in those probably final, 5 or 6 laps, watching, Rayomi and Harold, Scott and Harold just, work and battle for the race lead, but then, at the same time, while you're trying to watch that, you're also trying to get by Patrick down in those dying stages of that one.
Yeah, I was actually running, I think Gavin for 4th or something, or trying to make a pass on him. We were side by side, and then Patrick kind of got into the inside wall a little bit and scuffed his speed and momentum, and it allowed Gavin to get up on the outside of him, and then a few laps for Patrick to sort of back out and edge him out, and I was able to creep by Gavin, and then I was just kind of content for 4th there, and then Patrick seemed to start sliding off the bottom there and just kind of touched the wall a little bit, but I'm happy with that run for sure.
Kurt, well done on a third place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 218 machine.
Yeah, I thank Dirt Track Bank, everything they do to help racers all around the country. Got Your Six Racing Network, Hammer Down Racing, Brandon Templeton, Joe Halter, and Brian Dickens. Yeah, everybody in the league coming out and racing. Roger giving us a place to race. You doing the broadcast for us, and yeah, everybody watching at home.
Kurt Schatzer, third place finisher here tonight in the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modified. To chat to the man that comes home, second place started. He probably led 27 laps of this 30-lap feature event. Harold Klump in position number 2. Harold, congratulations on second spot. And boy, one that just slipped away from you there in the end. You led about 27 laps of this feature event. This one must hurt just a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely hurts a little bit, but I don't mind losing to Scott. Scott's a really good guy.
Talk us through those final 5 laps, when you had the lead and then, Scott finds a different line, he gets to your outside. Talk us what was going through your mind there on those final closing laps.
Well, I was thinking about the 358s, how I was up high and I got freight trains. So I thought I'll just stay down low as I can. And I just went half a lane too low.
How tough is it to try and keep that left front tire just on the apron there, all the way around to what looked like the fastest line for the majority of that feature event? How tough is it when the track is that slick?
It's really slick, especially with the big blocks, because you have to really feather it big time.
Harold, well done on a second place finish. Before we let you go, sponsors, shout out to all that good stuff, buddy. Who makes this happen for you in the 76 car?
Zito Speed and Performance, who built the real life motors for me. Mount Bethel Diner. You for putting on a fantastic show. Every time I listen to you, it's excellent. And Coast to Coast for putting on a great league here.
Harold, well done on second place, buddy. Nice to chat to you in Victory Lane.
Thank you very much.
Harold Klump, your runner-up driver in the 76 machine here in the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modifieds. But for right now, the man that comes away with he's second and back-to-back feature race wins. It's the 4-car of Scott Rayomi. Scott, well, we just spoke to you in the 358 Modifieds. Were you happy with that one? You lead 3 laps in this big box. I can only imagine that you're just a little bit more happier right now.
Yeah, that was I had to work for that one a little bit harder than I did in the 358, but man, a huge thanks to Harold. He raced absolutely clean. He held his line every single lap. I made it on, where I had to figure out a way to get around him, and that's the way this simulator should be played. He didn't look in his mirror. He didn't change lanes because I was running different lap times. He ran his race, and that's all. Huge thank you to him for that.
What goes through your mind when you're coming up to Harold? You had an opportunity early on, and the yellow comes out. He brings it back up, and then it was a single file restart. Let's actually talk about that moment with that lap car out of turn number 4, trying to get down to the pits as you and Harold were coming into turn number 4.
I believe I said in the Discord, it was almost like when you see a deer standing on the side of the road at nighttime, and all of a sudden it darts out in front of you. I had no idea he was up there. All of a sudden there was just a car shooting across the track. I don't know who it was, and I'm sure he, obviously didn't intend to do that, but that's part of the game.
Yeah, I don't want to give him up, but I know exactly who it was because I actually watch it, and I believe he was just trying to get down to the pits. But we spoke to you in the 358 Modified. You were happy to get the feature win. Now, what does this one mean to you to go back-to-back here on the night?
I told those guys I'm going to buy a lottery ticket because this is the kind of stuff that normally doesn't happen to me. It's usually I'm in the back somewhere and getting collected in someone else's wreck, or someone likes to watch their mirror and I can't get around them. It's one of those type of deals. So to run up here with these guys and sweep the night in the mods, that's unbelievable. I really don't have any words.
Scott, well done on the victory here in the Catalytic Recovery Big Block Modified. Before we let you go again, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 4 machine.
Once again, I really got to thank my fiance Heather for getting me this computer. It's a world of difference. I can see things happening now on the track. I can read the track a lot better. I got to thank the guys over at Full Throttle Motorsports. Without those guys, it'd just be floundering around. Swan Speed Shop, Dean at Super Dirt Car. I wish he could have been here for this. He's already messaged me once, so shout out to Dean. DJ Sim Shop, Dupro Performance. I think that's all of them. I don't know. I still haven't practiced, so maybe next week we'll try again. And I'll be a little more prepared.
Well, you're doing a nice job so far. Congratulations on not 1 but 2 feature wins here on the night, Scott. We'll see you back hopefully for the Pro Late Models very shortly.
All right, Brett. Have a good night.
Scott Rayomi, your winner of the Big Block Modifieds. As we get set for now Pro Late Models, we'll bring in Travis Piercefield. Travis, well, I got to say, 358s and Big Block Modifieds, boy, they've really turned on the racing here tonight at Lanier National Speedway. Pro Late Models to come. I've seen some Pro Late Models around here, and no doubt the boys are looking forward to putting on a show. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Feeling good, looking to continue the great racing you've had here tonight on Thursday Night Thunder. And then after those Pro Late Models, we got a little throwback, Brett, as the Xfinity Series division is going to go to Rockingham.
All right, we'll keep all the action live here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. But for now, myself and Ultimate Dirt TV, I'm going to sign off. We're going to take a short little pause on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Travis will come back with Pro Late Models here from Lanier National Speedway. But for now, my name's Brett Wheeler. I'll sign off, and we'll be right back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
Welcome to Lanier as we will continue our Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder here with the Pro Late Model Division as our Thursday night marches on. Cars are out on the track for hot laps currently as we get ready to go. And as we get ready to go, we'll take a look at those point standings coming into tonight. As always, it's Isaac Salas atop the charts, who looks like he is not active tonight. Trevor Giroux second, John Hine third, Brandon Templeton fourth, Dean Reynolds in fifth. Of course, Isaac Salas 3 wins on the year. Patrick Spangler 1 win on the year at this point. So, of course, our Tim Chapman pre-race show now on Sim Racer Hub, the presenting sponsor of our standings update for the Pro Late Model Division. As we currently have 7 cars here for the Pro Late Models out here at Lanier. As the cars get ready for this racing action. Currently all There's Trevor Giroux out on the track in his 75 machine. It looks like hot laps are coming to an end. As there they will close. We'll go into qualifying session. Of course, you'll be able to see best times over there on the left-hand side as the times come in. Brandon Templeton in his 31 machine, one of the first cars out there on the track. Logan Wentz also out there on the track here quick, along with Kurt Schatzer getting a time in early in this qualifying session. Of course, as mentioned, after this Pro Late Model division from Lanier, we'll go to Rockingham Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity division. As Brandon Templeton, first one out there with a time of 13:13 atop the charts. Went second. Schatzer will now jump up into the second spot. Anthony Morano out there in his 32 machine. So we'll have a different winner here tonight for Thursday Night Thunder. And we will also have a different winner from last week for this Pro Late Model division, as Isaac Salas is not here tonight. So looking to take advantage of one of the stronger cars all season long, of course, here on Thursday Night Thunder, not being at the track. As it's still Brandon Templeton second. Gavin Chatham, a good time there in his 99 machine. He'll shoot to the top of the charts, a 13:08. Trevor Giroux also out there. He's finishing up his time lapse third fastest at this point, a 13:21. As he will not improve. He will stay in that third spot. And it looks like Gavin Chatham's going to be our quick time here for qualifying with the Pro Late Model division here from Lanier for Thursday Night Thunder. And with that, qualifying will wrap up. Gavin Chatham will get the pole as we will go into our first and only heat race here tonight. Of course, heat number 1 presented by Flatline Racing Bodies as they get gridded out onto the track. We'll take a look at that starting lineup for our heat race. Kurt Schatzer, row number 1 alongside Trevor Giroux with the inversion. Brandon Templeton third, our fast time. Gavin Chatham fourth. Fifth, Anthony Morano alongside Logan Wentz. And seventh will be Kelly Wheeler. So cars make their way around this track with the Stephen King Foundation pace car. Of course, 6 laps will make up this heat race. Green flag will wave, and the Pro Late Models are racing at Lanier. Schatzer and Giroux on that first row. Giroux uses that outside to his advantage. He'll shoot out front as now Chatham's to the outside of Schatzer for that second position. Templeton will move around Morano behind them for the 4th spot as Schatzer's able to clear Chatham and stay in that second position down the back stretches. He's now able to break away. And now it's Templeton setting to attack on Chatham for that 3rd spot. Templeton will slide up in front of that 99 of Chatham. He'll fall back in place. He's got Morano right behind him now as they're all using that outside line at this point. 3 laps to go. It's still Giroux out front. Templeton separates from Chatham as he's still under attack from Morano. But out front, it's that 75 machine of Trevor Giroux. As the final lap, it will be Trevor Giroux, and he will win here at Lanier Heat Race number 1. And welcome back to Lanier as we have warm-ups out on the track here before we get set for our feature event. Of course, our Oswegan Speedway intermission now coming to a close. So we will have our catalytic recovery feature starting lineup. It's going to be Trevor Giroux on the first row alongside Kurt Schatzer. Row number 2, it's Brandon Templeton alongside Gavin Chatham. Anthony Morano in 5th next to Logan Wentz. And starting 7th will be Kelly Wheeler. So 30 laps here for these 7 pro late model division drivers, as they will roll off there behind that Stephen King Foundation pace car. Of course, as a reminder, coming up next, the NASCAR Xfinity division from Rockingham Speedway. So 2x2 they get set to go here for our feature event. Trevor Giroux alongside Kurt Schatzer on the outside. Green flag will wave. We are racing from Lanier. It's the Pro Late Model Division for the Coast to Coast Racing League. Giroux able to separate out front. Schatzer now trying to hold off 3 wide racing behind him. Templeton the sandwich between Morano and Chatham to his outside. Morano will drop out as now he falls back to Wentz, as it's going to be Schatzer that comes out of this one with the Chatham 99 behind him. Templeton battling on that inside though still. That outside momentum will carry Chatham to the 3rd position. Templeton will now fall in line with Morano right behind him. Out front it's Giroux. Still separated from Chatham a little, or Schatzer a little bit. Schatzer trying to chase him down from that 2nd spot. Riding along with Kurt Schatzer as he's trying to chase down Giroux up ahead. Just like that, we're 5 laps into this 30-lap feature event. The racing is back there with Morano and Wentz. Wentz still riding in that 6th spot, trying to get up to Morano. He'll fall back as that group of Chatham, Templeton, Morano still racing there together. Templeton continues to try to find some opportunity to get past Chatham, or at least up alongside him. "23 laps to go. It's still Giroux out front. He's got a half a second lead on Kurt Schatzer behind him. As we'll take a look at that drone shot presented by Chapman Racing. You can see the gap there between 1st, 2nd, and then that other gap between Schatzer and the 3rd place pack. As Giroux continues to hold his lead down to about 4/10 of a second here currently. Chatham has Templeton. Templeton goes all the way up into the loose stuff as he's trying to find a way around Chatham. Chatham now down to the inside. Morano will look to the inside of Templeton as this 3-car battle remains the hottest contest on the track. Chatham able to slide up in front of Templeton down the front stretch. Morano right there as well. Templeton has the advantage coming out of turn number 2 and down the back stretch. It's at the 3 and 4 that Chatham had the advantage. Not there, as Templeton's going to finally be able to get past the 99. Morano will as well, as Chatham has to let off. So Chatham will fall into that 5th spot. As now it's Templeton and Morano in 3rd and 4th. The lead for Trevor Giroux up front's now 0.8 of a second, so he stretched that lead out over Kurt Schatzer. Morano now looking for a move on Templeton. Templeton's now been able to move where he pleases as he rides in that 3rd spot. Giroux continues to lead. 14 laps to go. We've had 16 green flag laps to start this feature event with the Pro Late Models. Templeton still riding in that 3rd spot. Anthony Morano's up 1 spot into that 4th place, right behind the 31 of Templeton. Giroux continues to stretch his lead, now at 1 second over Schatzer. Templeton has some damage there to his right front. As Morano looks to the inside, he's able to pull up alongside the 31 in 1 and 2 and do the same in 3 and 4 as we're coming to 10 laps to go. This battle for 3rd remains the biggest battle on the track as Giroux has remained to stay a second out. He'll slide way up in turn number 4. That'll cut a couple tenths off of his lead, but then in 1 and 2 is really where he has the advantage over Schatzer. As you see, Kurt Schatzer, 9/10 of a second. Down the front stretch, it'll stretch out over a second. 1 and 2 really stretch out up to 1.4 there for a second. Then it falls back down to a second down the back stretch. So for the lap, he's about 1 second ahead of Schatzer. As we've got 6 laps to go. Anthony Morano was able to make his way around Templeton into the 3rd spot. As now Logan Wentz rides in the 5th spot, Chatham 6th, Kelly Wheeler in 7th. Templeton now back on the attack as he tries to get that spot back for Morano. Morano's our hard charger here at this point, up 2 spots into the top 3. Of course, we'll talk to our top 3 podium finishers at the end of this one. Coming to 2 laps to go for Trevor Giroux. Does have the Kelly Wheeler machine not far ahead. But coming to the white flag. I was going to say it may not make a difference, but he may get up to that 11 machine before this one's over. As the white flag waves, Giroux, Schatzer, Morano, your top 3. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Down the front stretch, it's Trevor Giroux, your Pro Late Model winner at Lanier. Schatzer 2nd. Morano 3rd. Templeton 4th. Wentz 5th. So it will be Trevor Giroux in victory lane. We'll also talk with Kurt Schatzer and Anthony Morano. And just like that, the Pro Late Model division here on Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder comes to an end. As we wait for our top 3 finishers to join us up here in the booth. So great racing here on Thursday Night Thunder continues. Started with Brett, of course, with the modifieds here at Lanier. Lanier will wrap up with another great finish here from the Pro Late Model division. Trevor Giroux will pick up his first Pro Late Model victory of the season. And with that, we'll first bring up Kurt Schatzer. He finishes 2nd here at Lanier. Kurt, walk us through. You start 2nd there along Trevor. Fall in line, never really being able to make up that gap.
Yeah, Travis, unfortunately, it probably was a boring race there. Trevor ran a perfect race. He didn't make a mistake. He actually showed me a different line in 1 and 2. I have to put that away in the notebook there for another race. And yeah, I'm happy with the podium. I'm two for the night. So I wish we could have had a little bigger of a field here tonight and put on a little better of a show, but.
I was going to ask Trevor actually about his line he was running, but you brought it up. He was really able to separate from you in 1 and 2. What were you seeing there, and what was that doing to your psyche as you're trying to reel him in, but 1 and 2 he just had the better car?
Well, he was running like a slider line in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and previous races here, I never seen him make that work. I mean, I was just kind of waiting for that top line to come in. I thought maybe if I could get my momentum built up, I might be able to make something happen, but I just never could. I tried different lines. I tried following his line, and no, he didn't make a mistake. He ran a perfect one. He deserves that win, and we'll just pack up and move on to the next one.
Well, like you said, another podium finish for you here tonight in the Pro Late Models. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I think Jay with Dirt Track Bank, everything they do to help racers all around the country, help our iRacing team, Hammer Down Racing, Brandon Templeton, Brian Dickens, and Joe Halter, and Country Six Racing Network, Friday Night Lights, um, everybody coast to coast coming out and racing, and you coming out and doing the broadcast. We missed your partner there, Hind. Where's he at?
I don't know. I showed up. He didn't. That's all we have for the
Okay.
record.
I didn't know if there was a what's the your dad's series going on. I didn't know if you had something going on there, prior commitments, but we'll take this and move on. So thanks.
Thank you. That is Kurt Schatzer, our second place finisher tonight here in the Pro Late Model Division. Now joining us in the booth is our third place car, Anthony Morano. Anthony, between you, Templeton, Wentz, and Chatham, that was the hottest contest out there on the track during this one. Walk us through that battle.
Yeah, it was pretty good there. It was, I saw Gavin had slipped up a few times, and then Brandon just ate the outside fence going out of front stretch, and I was like riding along behind him, trying to see where I was a little bit faster, a little bit slower, or maybe seeing where I could maybe try to throw a slider on him. But unfortunately for him, he got the wall and made my day a lot easier. So I just was like, okay, that's it, I'm going. And I knew Logan was starting to get into the rhythm. I know he's better when the track slicks off. So am I. I'm not really good with these things when the track's heavy. So it's kind of just hoping it would slick off. But hopefully next week we get a few more guys in here. I know a lot of guys aren't problem with the UI type thing or whatever, but hopefully next week we get more guys in here, put on a better show.
Walk us through, once you got in the third spot, obviously Brandon went on the attack mode to try to get it back from you. And then you're riding with that gap behind Kurt, obviously hoping maybe a caution will close that gap. But do you just go into defense mode trying to hold on to that third place at that point?
Yeah, when I got around Brandon, I glanced up in the mirror just if I can see, if his car was crippled or if he was going to survive it or how bad, I don't know if he's going to be able to go next turn and actually be able to turn or not. So I glanced up, saw the fender was off the right front. But Brandon is probably a million times better than me in these things, so I was just throwing slider line and taking away any option he had to get around me. So it was pretty much just all defense at that point.
Well, it was a fun battle to watch. You come away with a third place podium finish. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
I have to thank my wife, Sherry. Give a shout out to my dad. Today's his birthday. Teammates at Full Throttle Motorsports, Super Dirt Car Series, Hi Mom Lens, GripHack.com, DJ Sim Shop, MDI TV, you for doing the broadcast for us, and everybody coast to coast.
Well, that is our Flatline Racing Buddies hard charger for the night. It's Anthony Morano as he finishes third. And now joining us from Victory Lane, it's going to be Trevor Giroux with the win. Trevor, walk us through that one as you lead it start to finish and come away in Victory Lane.
Man, I don't know. My heart was pumping the whole time. I feel like I blacked out for a lot of it. Just kind of, this is one of my favorite tracks. I have more laps here than anywhere, so I was just doing what I know is fast. And yeah, I mean, I wish there was more of us to put on a better show there, but I mean, I had that slider line working. I know that's usually quick here in my experience, but I saw Kurt there. He was kind of running me down there for a couple laps, and then I'd go back to the slider line and kind of inch away there a little bit, but
Kurt talked about that as well, and I actually during the broadcast noticed that you were really able to pull away from him, especially down at the 1 and 2 end. Is that something that you had used in the past and tried, or was it just something that came in tonight that was sticking, and that you decided to go with it once you realized that was your advantage?
no, that's something that I've learned racing here. I have so many laps here. And like, so I mean, I kind of figured. I mean, the track started off pretty hammered down. I didn't know if it was gonna work, but as soon as I saw that slick lane coming through the middle, I was just running through right through the bottom and sliding up a little bit right underneath the marbles there, and it works every time in my experience. So that's something that I've taken from past races and brought it into here, and it worked out for me.
Well, it was a dominating performance tonight as you end up in Extreme E-Speed TV Victory Lane. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
I just want to give a shout out to everyone at C2C. Like I said, it's my first win here, and I'm really really stoked to pull off a win here in this league. There's a lot of good drivers that run this league. It's tough to get a podium finish, let alone a win. So I just want to thank everyone behind the scenes at C2C. 4.2 graphics for this amazing looking car. My buddy Trent Restraiten, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight due to some technical difficulties. My buddy Caleb, who I also race with, just all my buddies, and my wife, my mom and dad, who are probably watching, and yeah, everyone at C2C again. You for doing the broadcast. You do a phenomenal job. So thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm honored and happy to be here for your first one, and congratulations on that, and hopefully many more to come.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
That's Trevor Giroux, our winner tonight here. First time in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and the winner here with our Pro Late Model Division. And as we look ahead to next week's schedule presented by Dylan Westbrook Racing, the Pro Late Models will head to the dirt track at Charlotte, right here on the Coast to Coast Racing League network as a part of Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to head to Rockingham Speedway as we will have the Xfinity division coming up next here on Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing League network.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia. would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
Welcome to Rockingham Speedway as Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder continues on here with the NASCAR Xfinity division from Rockingham Speedway, as we have 10 cars out there on the track currently getting ready for this one from Rockingham. So a little bit of a throwback here as we head to the North Carolina, the now defunct North Carolina track. So 10 cars out there on the track here as we kick off with the Tim Chapman pre-race show. Standings: Isaac Salas, Colin Johnson, Roland Olson, Greg Parmalee, and Greg Offit, your top 5. Of course, with wins this winter season, Isaac Salas, Zachary Chapman, Daniel Blau, Keith Jackson. And as we have our warm-up session here, you will see best times. It's Tim Chapman atop the charts. Donovan Ross, cars here for this NASCAR Xfinity division at this point. As of course, coming up next, we'll have our qualifying session. To set the field for this one from Rockingham. And then we will have our feature event. Of course, looking ahead, our Dylan Westbrook Racing next week's schedule will be at the Kansas Road Course here for the NASCAR Xfinity division. Of course, as a part of Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder, as always. It's looking like 85 laps here tonight at Rockingham. See Keith Jackson out there on the track as well. See the one of Joe Canellis. Joe had a great qualifying run last week at Michigan for this NASCAR Xfinity division. Chapman, that's Tim Chapman, still atop the charts. Terry Landis out there in his 161. So the usual suspects here as a part of these 10 drivers that are currently here out on the track. Oh, as Landis gets loose, he'll go around right in front of Canellis. Good driving there by Joe. You know, my grandfather always told me to drive as a defensive driver, so saw that in action there from Joe Canellis. So Tim Chapman still atop the charts. Roland Olson out there as well. A majority of the cars out there getting some practice time in. Terry Landis has completed 56 laps in this session. Keith Jackson 53. Joe Canellis on his 50th lap now. Donovan Ross and his 5 machine out there on the track as well. Keith Jackson out there in his number 13 machine. Here as warm-ups continue here for the NASCAR Xfinity division. We got cars on the track, so we will continue to take in the sights and sounds from Rockingham Speedway here for the NASCAR Xfinity cars. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity division from Rockingham Speedway here on the Coast to Coast Racing League Network. As we are now just minutes away from qualifying for tonight's feature event, the final division here on Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. As we're about 3 minutes from our qualifying session here, we've had 3 more cars join us. That's the Bassman, Roger Craig, Jeffrey Kemper, and John Hine. So up to 13 cars here for the NASCAR Xfinity division here on this Thursday Night Thunder. Joe Canella still out on the track. Roland Olson out there as well, of course, in his Nesquik machine. Jeffrey Kemper now out on the track. The 181 machine. Slight tap of the wall there on the exit of turn number 2. So now it's Keith Jackson, Joe Canellis, Terry Landis, all with 70 plus laps of practice here during this warm-up session. Of course, as always, thank you to everyone tuning in to Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing League Network.
Good evening, Travis.
Hey, John, how are you doing?
Not too bad. I guess better late than never, huh?
Yeah, there was questions about where you were for the pro late models tonight, but it's nice you show up here at Rockingham with us.
Yeah, feeling under the weather here, and I think I'm gonna try to suck it up. Maybe turn a few laps, give a little perspective here of this racetrack, and maybe then pull her in and sit with you up in the booth.
Sounds good. I was, thinking of a track to just take it easy and ride around. Thinking of Rockingham and what it does to those tires. That definitely might not be one of those easy tracks to just make laps here at Rockingham tonight.
No, and this is an interesting track because, well, the two ends of the track are completely different. You got a lot of banking over here in 3 and 4, and as I get down to 1 and 2, as they throw the checker, I mean, a lot less banking, a lot more a lot less banking, a lot more narrow, and you get yourself in a lot of trouble down there in 1 and 2.
We talk about it all the time, John. When I think of Rockingham, I think of fuel mileage and I think of really close finishes.
Yeah, I also think, and I think iRacing missed the boat here, but for those of you that don't know, there is a replica Martinsville right off the backstretch. They call it Little Rock.
Yeah,
they should have scanned that. That's a lot of fun there.
I was gonna say they used that. They built that for testing. I think a lot of the when they stopped the testing rules, that was being used at that point. As we see cars out there for qualifying session.
Yeah, I think I'll bypass the whole qualifying thing, but not enough practice time. I definitely don't want to get into the middle of the field here. And when we get ready to go, be watching that start. I know last night in the truck race, saw a lot of guys spinning the tires coming to the green here and caused a lot of havoc. But down at 1 and 2, a lot of havoc took place.
Well, since you watched it last night for the trucks, where are you thinking that pit window is going to fall tonight for this Xfinity division?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I get out on track, when the thing starts, I'll look at all that stuff. We'll report that so we know what that is for the viewers and all that kind of good stuff. So we can get an idea. Honestly, I didn't run long enough last night in the trucks to get any kind of view on that, to be honest with you. I had an early exit, should I say.
Gotcha, no worries about that. It's Colin Johnson top the charts at 24.84, just ahead of Zach Chapman, Offit, Canellis, and Landis, your top 5 here so far during this qualifying session. You know, the other thing I think about when I think about Rockingham is our fellow Michigander, Johnny Benson, picking up his one and only NASCAR Cup Series victory.
Yeah, that's right. And there's been a lot of really cool victories that have happened there. Of course, you remember that this is where they went right after Dale Earnhardt passed up down there in Daytona, and if I believe correctly, didn't one of his cars come in here the next week and win it?
Steve
Wasn't it Steve
Parks.
Park or
Yeah,
something?
Steve
Yeah.
Parks.
So a lot of cool things, and I've heard rumors that this track might find itself back on the schedule for the Trucks or Xfinity, though.
Zach Chapman atop the charts at 24.65, just ahead of Keith Jackson. Yeah, I know as part of that bill in North Carolina that put money into North Wilkesboro along with Charlotte Motor Speedway, they just repaved Rockingham with some of that money as well.
Yeah, and I mean it's a cool track, like I said, and I don't know I doubt they'll ever get a Cup race back. I mean, there's too many tracks in proximity, and NASCAR's gotten too big. But those feeder series, the Xfinity and trucks and whatnot, and even ARCA. I think ARCA would you do a truck ARCA weekend here would be pretty cool.
Well, I think they're definitely getting a little bit more creative with the truck schedule and even the Xfinity schedule. And then you have, you had our SRX, but now iRock coming back. I think there's definitely some series that are more open to attending some of these tracks where they think they'd have support just from the revival of them.
Yeah, and this track, this used to be one of the crown jewel tracks on the NASCAR schedule. I mean, this is one that a lot of people wanted to get that trophy at, and definitely miss it. And it's cool that the Coast to Coast Racing League, you know what? We're here. We're not gonna abandon it. We're here. We're gonna try to put a show on here and hopefully bring her back to life here for the next hour or so.
I think you saw with North Wilkesboro what can happen if it's the right track. As you can see, a lot of the backstretch grandstands have been tore down in real life along with iRacing here. But always cool to see an older track come back to life, even if it is here on the Coast to Coast Racing League on iRacing.
Absolutely. I mean, even, I do realize this is a virtual world and everything, but, just a second ago when I, went down pit road and onto the track, you're, at least for me, instantly aware of the history, but, I'm kind of a history nerd, so, but, it's kind of a big deal to be back here. It's kind of cool that iRacing's got it. It's kind of cool that Coast to Coast is here. And like I said, it's a great track to race. It's going to keep the drivers busy. Like I said, the two ends of the track being so different, there might be one or two guys, and those are going to be the guys to watch that'll be good on both ends. But if this was an open setup race, this is the kind that would drive crew chiefs nuts because either you had to be good in 1 and 2 or you had to be good in 3 and 4. You weren't going to be good in both. So the iRacing setup's going to be pretty neutral, but guys based on some of their tendencies, you'll see the same thing here. Some guys are going to be really good in 1 and 2. Some guys are going to be good in 3 and 4.
Well, and just like that, the sun will come out here as we get gridded behind that Stephen King Foundation pace car out front. Since you're going to start this one, John, I'll go into the starting lineup as it is a Chapman front row. Zach Chapman, your pole sitter, quick time in qualifying alongside Tim Chapman. Keith Jackson, row number 2 alongside Terry Landis. Donovan Ross in 5th. Next to Gary Offit. Row number 4, it's Colin Johnston alongside Jeffrey Kemper. Rounding out our top 10, it's Joe Canellis alongside Roland Olson. Starting 11th is Greg Parmalee next to Andrew Cuppersmith. And in the 7th and final row, it's going to be our in-race reporter, John Hine, and the Bassman, Roger Craig.
Yeah, and as I kind of lean forward in my seat and look over my seat there, I can see Roger's car. If you get a shot of that, they got the Steve King Foundation. Pretty cool thing coming up here. We're going to be able to run a charity event. I think it's at the end here. So check that car out. And if you're part of an iRacing league and you got this night off, come and see it and come and be a part of it.
Plenty of fun.
I was going to say, just go to c2crl.com and register.
Plenty of fun and always for a great cause. I believe I will be on the call on Sunday night for that week. As we get ready to go here, closing out Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder, as always, here with the NASCAR Xfinity division. as Zach Chapman's turned into someone in this league, John, that is always competitive and someone that tends to be fast throughout the evening.
Yeah, Zach is going to be one to watch here. I didn't even see who's in the lineup here. I can pull that up and take a look. Colin Johnson, I think you got to watch him. I know he's here. And let's see here. Keith Jackson, he's pretty quick. Terry Landis. There are a lot of good guys here. Donovan. So this will be a lot of fun here to watch. But like I said, getting through 1 and 2, especially on this opening lap, that's got to be a lot of these guys' goals because it's real easy to have a problem. We saw it last night in the truck race. We barely got past the start-finish line before there was an issue.
We'll take a look at that Chapman Racing front row and from the Chapman Racing drone shot down the back stretch. Is that Stephen King Foundation pace car lights are off. That means he'll pull on into pit road this time by. And we will get started here from Rockingham. 85 laps will make up tonight's feature event. Looks like Keith Jackson did not grid, so we've got 13 cars out on the track there to get us started as the Stephen King Foundation pace car pulls on off. Zach Chapman, Tim Chapman front row. Did see some tires spun there for a moment, as you mentioned, John, but it's going to be Zach Chapman headed off into turn number 1. Tim Chapman will stay in that outside line at least through the first 2 corners.
Yeah, I think the guys kind of learned a lesson from last night, not mashing the gas. So some of these guys that were here last night are going to know not to do that, and the reason they're going to know not to do that is they probably made that mistake last night here as we go through 3 and 4 for the first time.
Lap number 1 is in the books. It's Zach Chapman, your leader. Tim Chapman behind him. They've broken away. It's Donovan Ross that leads that next group as he's got Terry Landis, Colin Johnson, Joe Canellis all in a line. And just like we normally see with this NASCAR Xfinity division, these veteran drivers very quick to fall in line, start counting down some laps, and letting the race and track come to them. So a typical start here on Thursday night.
Yeah, and it looks like the pit window, I've got the thing up so we know here, is going to be, it says estimated about 39 laps in, but I have to wonder, will the tires last that long? We've got 2 sets of tires to work with here tonight. So, if you we're doing the race backwards, I'm thinking that maybe the tire thing might dictate when you pit more so than gas.
And we will definitely pay attention to that drop-off in speed that happens here at this older track, the older surface here on this track in iRacing. Which, speaking about them repaving this track, John, I would love to see what that new track surface and what that grip would do to a race here at Rockingham.
It'd probably be scary fast with the way that, the current cars are built and the downforce, and especially those Cup cars with those new tires. But, I don't think there's any chance Cup race will be here, but you never know.
So currently watching a battle with Joe Canellis, Jeffrey Kemper. This is a battle for 6th. Also a battle out on the track, Roland Olson trying to track down Greg Parmalee up ahead. You see Andrew Cupper-Smith not far behind. As Parmalee will move up slightly. That opens the door for Roland. Roland will close in on that 4 car up ahead. No move there as he falls back in line, currently running in the 10th spot.
And early observations with this car, the truck, you could get a lot more aggressive going into the corners, and this car has a little more power, so you got to back the corners up. If you charge the corners, you're going to slide the front tires and push that right front off. You do that pit window for the fuel anyway, you're probably not going to make it.
Watching Kemper move by Joe Canellis. That's put him in the 6th spot. He's trying to chase down Donovan Ross now, up ahead in that 5 car. As he's closed that gap quickly right to the bumper through 1 and 2. As it's Colin Johnson, our quick mover here early in this one, up 3 spots as he's moved now into the 4th spot. And now he's got his sights set on Terry Landis for 3rd. Just like that, we're starting to work lap number 9. It's still Zach Chapman out front. He's got Tim Chapman behind him as they've broken away from the field by about a second. As now Kemper making...
Oh, we got one in the wall in the backstretch. Looks like Terry Landis.
Terry Landis involved. It
No
also looks like
caution.
Roland Olson there. Plenty of damage to the front of his cars. That's the first caution here on lap number 10.
I don't see a caution. At least
Oh,
iRacing's not telling me to slow down.
Oh, there is no
But
cautions. Don't listen to me, John.
I saw Terry sitting back there. I think I saw his bumper out in front of him in the middle of the track. Kind of surprised that iRacing didn't see that as a caution there, because he was up on the racing surface a little bit. That's a tough break for Terry.
It was actually Terry's good. Terry's in third. That was Roland Olson, John. He's missing the front clip. He's made it to pit road.
Okay.
And this is where I remind you, John, I'm a broadcaster. I make mistakes. I'm not your spotter.
Well, I tell you what, even with a spotter, the driver makes mistakes on it, well and good on his own. So it's an equal opportunity thing to have mistakes be made on a racetrack.
As you were mentioning him, we check in on Terry Landis. You see his car is 161 machine, good to go. The Yahoo versus Nesquik caused for the confusion there, I think, is now he's under attack by Colin Johnston. Yeah, you had the wrong chocolate drink, John.
Well, that's too bad, because I prefer Nesquik over Yahoo. Sorry, Terry. But, you thought I would have recognized that. I grew up on Nesquik.
Nesquik was the best as a child.
I'll be honest, if I was completely truthful, I'd tell you I still drink Nesquik from time to time.
You've still got the rabbit in your pantry.
Yeah, that's right.
So working
The
lap
powder, the powder, not the squeeze kind.
Of course. So Zach Chapman continues the lead here, coming to the completion of lap number 14. Tim Chapman behind him. Colin Johnson up 4 spots into the 3rd spot. As Terry Landis, Donovan Ross round out your top 5 running as they started. Obviously, Roland Olson. Yeah.
I am starting to feel the tires now. You know, the nose of the car is sliding a little bit more through 1 and 2. So these guys are going to have to start transitioning what they're doing behind the wheel, especially down there 1 and 2. The banking down in 3 and 4 is still going to help them get that car to turn. But here's where, you know, down in 1 and 2 becomes really integral part of the race, and it can be a game changer for somebody.
As we ride along with John Hine, you can see the difference. And John, at least for us, it looks like, and maybe you can feel it, visually 1 and 2 looks a lot narrower than 3 and 4.
It is. It's much narrow. It's not only is it more narrow, you got less banking down there. So that's where these drivers, you know, they're going to have to be lifting a little bit earlier and kind of maybe trail braking a little bit, getting into the corner before they pick the car up, pick the throttle back up. But this is where tire management, this part of the race, this is where tire management's going to be crucial for somebody, for about everybody.
Well, and as you said that, John, we saw Landis slide up the track on the exit of turn number 4. That opens the door for Donovan Ross to make a pass on him for the 4th position. Great run for Landis out of turn number 2 as he closes back in on Donovan Ross, but he'll fall in line as both of them using a much higher line there through 3 and 4 than we've seen here early in this one, as we're coming to the completion of the first 20 laps. Out front, it's still Zach Chapman. He's got Tim Chapman behind him. Zach running a much lower line through 3 and 4 as he stretched his lead out over a 2nd and a 3rd. With 20 laps in the book, we're 1/4 of the way through this one here at Rockingham tonight. At this point, a lot of separation throughout the field. About a half a second is the closest battle. Actually, now it's 3/10 of a second as John Hine will close in on Roger Craig for the 11th spot.
Yeah, We're down to still saying about 22 laps left for fuel here for these guys. So I'm gonna let Roland here go by me. Get a good look at that NASCAR car. Now I'm thirsty, but yeah, I think tire management. You're gonna see somebody fall off like fall off a cliff here with these tires. I'm gonna bet before that fuel runs out.
Well, Zach Chapman, for reference, has fallen off his last lap was a second slower than his best lap. When you talked about it, with 2 sets of tires, you could cut this race into thirds, whereas gas-wise, you could cut it into half.
Yep. And there's a couple ways you can go with that on your tires. You know, you can short pit and try to make up the time. You know, we talked about this a little bit last week. How one of the cool things that this racing does is gives you options. We've seen so many. You know, we've done so many broadcasts together where the whole complexion of the race has changed just because of when somebody pits. But, you know, you can do an undercut, which means that you're going to pick up time at the beginning, or you can run long, put them on, and hopefully you can drive by them towards the end.
Speaking of driving by, we watched Joe Canellis drive by Terry Landis. Terry Landis has now fallen back to the 6th spot. He had been running in the top 4 for a majority of these first 24 laps. Well, we've seen it too, John, where if somebody was willing to come down pit road here early, that could also open the floodgates as usual, where others all of a sudden don't want to lose that time on the track, and it'll change the complexion of their race as well.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of teams here in this too. You know, even their cars might not be painted up the identical or anything like that, like you see in Formula One, but they're in a Discord channel with each other, and you know, you got 3 or 4 guys openly talking pit strategy in there, so a whole team can come, or you know, they can mix up their strategy to try to cover all their bets on that. So. A lot of things going on. Probably a lot of interesting conversations in some of those team channels right now.
Out on the track, watching Jeffrey Kemper. He's trying to chase down Gary Offit, currently running in the 9th position. As Tim Chapman has made some ground up, and Donovan Ross has really made some ground up, as he's now joined the front too. As he's into the wall along with Tim Chapman. I think that was a case of following the car in front of you, and it ends up sucking you both in. But that 5 car right now, John, is really fast. And through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 the last lap, he was using almost a Miami Homestead line around this Rockingham Speedway.
Yeah, and if you're up top, you know, you're using the tires a lot less because, you know, the less wheel you put into the car, the less tire you're going to use. You don't have the front tires turned as much, so that could be beneficial if you're saving some rubber there.
Well, he's almost diamonding the corner. He's entering a little bit higher than a diamond, but the off of turn number 2 is where he makes up all that ground on Tim Chapman, as we'll watch them go through 1 and 2 again here as we work lap number 29.
Sounds like somebody needs to tell Donovan he's not on a dirt track. That diamonding thing, you know, that's popular in dirt track racing.
Well, he gets into the wall again there in 1 and 2, and again in 3 and 4, so he is making ground on Tim Chapman there, but he's also wearing out that right side of his car, as Tim's been able to close up on Zach Chapman for the lead as well, so now all of a sudden the closest battle on the track is our top 3 drivers.
Well, we called it, you know. Both of us said, you know, a lot of exciting and close finishes here. This is how they happen. Get the top few cars running under a blanket.
So you can see all 3 of them there through 3 and 4. Zach Chapman continues to lead, as his lead's down to now 0.2 of a second. And that run in 1 and 2 that Donovan gets almost pulls him up alongside that 37 of Tim Chapman, that time down the backstretch. And now Tim's taken a similar approach in 3 and 4 in front of the Ross machine. And it looks like Joe Canellis will make his way to pit road here on lap number 31.
You know, and the thing about pit road here, take a look at that pit road and where people are going to be pitting. You can't see where your pit stall is coming around the corner. That is a blind corner up there where those pit boxes are.
As you see, the
That-
first.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say that first pit stall is about middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that can open the door for a mistake, you not be able to see that and get in there. So keep an eye on that pit road there. But that's definitely a short pit there for Canellis because we definitely have a lot more fuel left.
Well, Landis is now pitted. Cuppersmith has pitted as well. So 3 drivers have made their way to pit road here. The leaders have stayed out at this point. I believe Landis was in about the 6th position when he made his pit stop.
The other thing you got to take into consideration is we do have green white checkers. So just because cutting in the thirds like that, I would try to get a couple more in. But we're gonna pull in the pit road here and take a gamble here and see what that does for us. But and getting on the pit road here is no easy chore either because you come through 3 and 4 here, and you got to turn it down, and there is a transition that can kick that car out from under you.
So it's still Zach Chapman up front. John Hyden, as he mentioned, made his way to pit road. Donovan Ross has made his way by Tim Chapman now, as he'll fall into that 2nd position.
And I got a speeding penalty, and let's just say they're going to hold me for 40 seconds when this is done. So if somebody else makes that mistake, one of these guys leading, it's going to take them right out of the race.
So
something about speeding at a racetrack just doesn't seem right, but I guess it's safer for those guys crawling over the wall.
Well, we just watched Donovan Ross make his way past Zach Chapman. Zach Chapman's now fallen back to the 3rd spot. As we saw Donovan coming, he had a fast car. He was patient behind Tim Chapman when he rode around in 3rd, and then was able to clear him and then able to move past Zach as well. So we have 8 cars on the lead lap, also 8 cars that have yet to pit. As John finishes his ice cream on pit road, about to head back out on the track.
That speeding penalty, that's, really has helped. There's some guys that got killed on pit road that it is still wild to watch old video of guys making pit stop. And we saw it in the Charlotte race, when they did the All-Star race about coming in there and just, no pit road speed. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah, there's some good old footage of, and obviously Atlanta is one of the reasons why that stopped. But even watching like in Atlanta and a bigger track like that, with the way they used to come down pit road, and the pit crews just run out there, no protection, no helmets, no knee pads, and no nothing at that point. Crazy.
It is, and I don't know who probably had to feel more fear. The guys jumping out, I mean, they still did it, but it had to be in the back of their mind, or the driver coming in there. I'd be worried about running people over too. But different era, different time. But yeah, just crazy stuff.
We're watching Colin Johnson. He's moving past. Parmalee and Offit have made their way to pit road, so we're down to 6 cars. Looking at the cars that pitted, Cuppersmith ran a 25.18 the last lap. Donovan Ross, our leader, a 2nd slower. Tim Chapman and Colin Johnson, who we're watching here under battle, were almost 2 seconds slower than Andrew Cuppersmith.
Yeah, and with no cautions out, that's a lot of distance on the track.
So the front 6 remain out on the track. Oh, Tim Chapman makes his way to pit road, as does Zach Chapman. So they've had enough. Donovan Ross will stay out. Colin Johnston, Jeffrey Kemper, and Roger Craig are remaining 4 drivers yet to pit.
Yeah, and I'm behind Colin now, and he can barely get that car turned down in 1 and 2. So I'd have to imagine he's going to be pitting here in the next lap or two. It looks like he may be going right now.
They are. Donovan Ross did as well. And so these drivers here, John, won't have to pit again. They can make it to the finish. But again, if those other drivers pit at lap 60 and then cut that final 20 laps, it'll be interesting to see if that will open the door at the end for a finish.
And of course, a caution changes everything.
Resets and can wipe out any strategy that you had. So it's going to cycle around. It's actually going to be Joe Canellis as our leader. He'll come out in front of Donovan Ross. Donovan Ross just now exiting onto pit road. He's currently about 5 seconds.
At this point now, I have to wonder, Joe's significant other, Tracy, if she's cheering on the couch, and hopefully he doesn't get excited and start trying to show off and hot dog it up there, but good for him.
Joe Canellis, if I'm correct, I believe he's a part of that Salty Dogs racing team.
Yep.
So the Salty Dogs
They're probably cheering just as much as they are too.
I was going to say
a good group over there.
Representing that crew tonight as he will lead lap number 45. And he's got about a 5.5 second lead over Donovan Ross right here as we cycled around. Of course, he pitted 12 laps earlier than Donovan.
Yeah, and Donovan's in sharp chipping away at that pretty handily. Just that, it doesn't sound like a lot of lap difference on the tires, but it can make 2 or 3 tenths up, and that's a significant amount of ground to gain per lap.
Looking at it, it looks like Zach Chapman may have had problems on pit road as well, as he is a lap down, currently running on the 12th
I wonder if he got
spot.
a speeding one.
That's what I was thinking as well. So it's Canellis. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I'd say yeah, probably so.
So it's Canellis, Ross, Landis, Tim Chapman, Colin Johnston, your top 5. 6 will be Parmalee, Cuppersmith 7th, off at 8th, Kemper in 9th, and then Roger Craig in 10th.
With the way things are strung out here, I won't be a bit surprised this doesn't go caution-free, and, knock on wood here, but the different strategies, we're going to be real interested to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, of those drivers that stayed out, it's Donovan Ross, Colin Johnston, Kemper, Roger Craig, and Zach Chapman that waited to pit on to lap 43 or 42. Whereas you've got Canellis in first, Landis in third, and Cuppersmith in 8th, who most likely will pit here around lap number. They could make it to about lap 70, but you'd think they'd cut it in half, pit around lap 55 to 60.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, being in a virtual world, I can't just reach up here and pull some of the roll padding off throughout the window and get a caution or anything like that. Neither can these other guys. So it's going to be an interesting second half of the race, that's for sure. Last third of the race, anyway.
Well, the battle is heated up for third as Colin Johnson. Oh, Landis will get into the wall at the entry of turn number 1. That opens the door to Johnson to the inside as he'll move into the third spot. Tim Chapman's not far behind there as well. So we talk about a lot of space between these cars, but these three all under a blanket here as this battle for third heats up.
Are they all on the same pit strategy, or did one of them go later?
So Tim Chapman, Colin Johnson are the same. Terry Landis is lap 30, 10 laps earlier in the middle of this sandwich.
Yeah, that'll be a battle to watch and see how that all comes about or ends up there.
Yeah, looking at speeds, Colin Johnson's the quicker one. He's the one out front. Landis and Chapman very similar speeds for 4th and 5th as they've got 10 laps between their tires. Good run there for Tim Chapman off of turn number 2, though. He's going to look to the inside of Landis when they head off into turn number 3. So 55 laps done, 30 laps to go. Chapman all over Landis. They come close to each other there a couple times, but the veteran driver's able to keep it clean and keep going forward, as now Tim Chapman will look to the outside of Landis down the backstretch.
Some of these salty dogs got to be running out of gas, and I don't mean the kind they put in their car, because I know I'm getting tired.
We talked about that before the race and last week, John. A track like this, you can really feel the amount of work and attention that you have to put into it lap after lap, especially this Xfinity series where we see some long green flag runs or even green flag runs start to finish.
Yeah, and and again, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of different wheels and stuff like that, and the guys that have direct drives with like a really high level of spring and stuff in their wheel, you get a workout, that's for sure. And I mean, this is probably a pretty good workout. Going to be running the 24 hours of Daytona this weekend, so I guess I can chalk this up as training.
Well, and just now, John, Donovan Ross drives around Joe Canellis with not much of a fight there, as he just drives around him. Last lap, he was over a second faster, as it's now Donovan Ross, our leader, here on lap number 59.
It sounds like Devo's probably the guy that's going to be the guy to beat here. So got some time left here, and I saw somebody coming off of pit road in front of me. It looks like it's Roland Olson. So maybe some of these guys now, you were talking about doing it in thirds, maybe that pit window is starting to open for some of these guys to try to get that fresh rubber again.
We'll pay attention to that, as Joe Canellis last pitted on lap 31. He won't pit this time. Terry Landis running in 5th, pitted on lap number 32, along with Cuppersmith in the 9th position. As you see, we have
felt like wrecking my teammates as they went back. Zach went by a little bit earlier. Jeff Kemper went back, and these are the knuckleheads that talked me into running the 24-hour race. And I think I missed my opportunity to get even about that.
Well, you can see Zach Chapman in the 11th spot, 1 lap down. Jeffrey Kemper in 8th, the last car on the lead lap. The 24 always fun to watch and pay attention to kick off what feels like the racing season, at least from the asphalt side of things.
Yeah, it does. And I was actually retired until about 24 hours ago on this whole deal. So, iRacing does such a great job with their special events. And, one of the cool things is news leaked out. I mean, everybody kind of knew it was coming, but iRacing gets to bring back the Indy 500 this year, so that'll be another one down the road to look forward to.
The racing season's just around the corner.
I know, and am I the only one that's disappointed there's going to be no Gunther Steiner in the paddock over in Formula One?
Yeah, that was one that I wasn't expecting. It sounded like it was, as it seems to be always with Haas, an interesting breakup there.
Yeah, and I don't know why it took so long to go public on it, but I tell you, I think he should do get some kind of reality show on Netflix. He and who was the guy that was in Ferrari? The guy that looked like Harry Potter. Can't think of his name now.
Or even an American series, pick him up. I could see him doing some like IndyCar TV stuff. That would be entertaining.
He'd drive Roger Penske nuts.
Well, Joe Canellis, Andrew Cuppersmith have made it to pit road. So that group that pitted on lap number 32 is Terry Landis, the only one out there, and John Hine that have yet to pit. Now that we have 20 laps to go, it's still Donovan Ross out front. He's got a 3-second lead over Colin Johnson. Tim Chapman up to the 3rd spot. Yeah,
I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off here, so I kind of made my bet, going to shoot long for, but after that pit road penalty, making a 3rd stop, not going to do that. We got another one coming off of pit road here. Looks like the 45 of Cumbersmith.
He's down low on the backstretch as the leader of Ross will go around him. Colin Johnson is gaining ground. It's under 3 seconds now from him to Donovan Ross up ahead, as Ross coming up to John Hine in the 11th position.
It's kind of weird to be a lap down, but this is the first time the leader's passed me.
Just like that, 18 laps to go. Of course, we'll talk to the top 3 podium finishers. And honestly, you know what? I was thinking about it, John. We had a green start to finish for the pro late models at Lanier as well. So we've had no Mission 22 restarts, no green flags, no replays. It's been a quick-paced second half of our Thursday Night Thunder here tonight.
It sounds like the review committee's going to have a week off.
I think so at this point.
You know, real quick, go to the leader. You got Cuppersmith, who's got fresh tires behind him off the pace. There's a difference. You got one of the fastest guys on the track, and Ross, that's been out front leading. But he's getting pressure from a guy that's laps down. Those fresher tires making a difference, and Gary Offit's headed to pit road too now.
Tim Chapman is as well. He'll pit from the 3rd spot. So
boy, he's going to have to burn those tires down. That's awful late, you know, to be throwing that out there. But, man, oh, man. Oh, Donovan went in the wall over in 3 and 4.
And that, you can see, closes that gap on Cuppersmith, who is a couple laps down in the 11th spot.
I'm wondering if Donovan's tires aren't shot. That could be a big game changer, because when the tires fall off completely, you can't turn the car. You've almost got to stop. He's up there again.
He is.
The wall.
Yeah, Cuppersmith's going to actually pass him on the inside. Colin Johnson was closing that gap, as now Terry Landis makes his way to pit road as well.
I think the leaders are going to have to pit.
Which is going to put, it looks like, it's going to put Terry Landis.
Tim Chapman, who pitted from 3rd, just went by in a hurry, and he's about to unlap himself.
Well, and Joe Canellis made his way down to pit road on lap number 63 as well, as everyone ahead of him is on the same. Actually, Donovan Ross Johnston pitted on lap 43. Kemper in 3rd pitted a lap sooner on 42. So it looks like we could have some excitement here these final dozen laps at Rockingham, John.
Yeah, maybe so. And I'm going to let Colin go by here. I'm going to see what kind of tire wear from that first run that I had to kind of report back how much tire that they're using.
Well, you can see Tim Chapman closing that gap on Donovan Ross. This will give Tim his lap back. He just pitted on lap 68, as he's now back up into the 7th position.
Yeah, that last pit stop I made, and I was in the back not even pushing things, okay? The right front tire had 55 down to 55% wear, while the back had 90, the left rear had 95, and the left front had 80. So the front tires, remember how I was telling you how the nose of the car sliding across the track? That's why these guys aren't able to turn and they're bouncing off the wall. They got no grip on the front of the car.
Well, and you've got to think about it too. Early in the race, a lot of guys were taking it much easier than they were that second half, and then they get separated out around the track. That gives you your point of reference becomes a lot further out in front to make sure that you're conserving at the rate that you want to. So I was wrong there. Tim Chapman is now 1 lap down, so he got 1 lap back on the track.
Oh, if he lost 2, well, maybe you would lose 2 laps here. 30-second laps here, so I mean, yeah, you probably would lose 2 here.
So we're down to 8 laps to go. It's still Donovan Ross, Colin Johnson, Jeffrey Kemper, your front 3. So you can see the difference. Johnston now back 5 seconds, Kemper back 21 seconds, Joe Canellis in 4th, 1 lap down, Zach Chapman up to 5th, 1 lap down. So if it stays green, Donovan should be able to ride this one. It might not be the most comfortable ride to victory.
No, and you know, like I said, if it goes off, once the tire where it gets down to about 15 or lower, you have to stop and turn the car. You can't even just roll the car. You absolutely have no grip. And once it gets to 0, you literally have a flat tire. And iRacing will actually show you that proverbial meatball flag and tell you you have damage.
So continuing to watch Donovan Ross here. He's separated from Colin Johnson. Colin has the same tire situation as he does, though.
Canellis just passed me a point of reference here, so he's P4, and he's about 4 seconds, 3 seconds behind Colin. Oh, you know what? I am going to have to pit. I'm going to run out of gas. Oh, that's a bummer.
So looking here, Joe Canellis, 12 seconds. He is cutting down in that quickly as he's trying to get a podium finish here. The final 4 laps, he is cutting into that gap of Jeffrey Kemper up ahead of him in 3rd quite quickly at this point.
And we're going to have a caution, maybe. Contact between Terry Landis and well, what a save. The 003 made the save of the night.
So again, those 2 chocolate drinks.
Is that a mixed drink if they got together like that?
I think that's exactly what that is, John.
I couldn't help it.
That was good. Dad jokes galore here on Thursday Night Thunder.
Oh, I'll see myself out. I hope nobody turned the channel.
Well, and with no caution, Donovan Ross has to be thanking that he has this 6-second lead. As you can see, that car is not comfortable out on the track. But he's coming to the white flag. 1 more lap here around Rockingham. As we're going to go start to finish green flag, all 85 laps. Zach Chapman, Donovan Ross, Joe Canellis are leaders throughout this one. As John Hine pits, Andrew Cuppersmith pits as well. And through 3 and 4 for the final time, it's going to be that 5 machine, Donovan Ross, your NASCAR Xfinity winner at Rockingham here on the Coast to Coast Racing League.
And he was on a one-stop strategy too, right?
Correct. All the top 3 all pitted on lap 42 or 43 as Colin Johnson comes home 2nd. Jeffrey Kemper will end up in 3rd. Joe Canellis, a good run for that salty dog. He'll come home 4th. Tim Chapman 5th. Roger Craig, the Bassman, in 6th. Zach Chapman in 7th. As we will wait for our top 3 finishers to join us up here in the booth. Donovan Ross makes his way. You can see the damage to the right side of his machine as he'll pull into victory lane here. Of course, victory lane presented by Extreme eSpeed TV. Your top 3 finishers, they're on the front stretch. Well, another one in the books, John. You made it to the finish, even feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I'll chalk it up as a little bit of a warm up for tomorrow. We're gonna run that first split at that 24, so hopefully we can hold it together until then. But that was an exciting race. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen there, and that one stop strategy. I hate to sound like a broken record, but Travis, we saw another one that depending on when you pit is really how that kind of influenced where you finished.
That it did. And John, I'm going to throw it back over to you since you wanted to chat with him about the 24-hour coming up. It's our 3rd place finisher, Jeffrey Kemper.
Jeffrey, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, man, you took a gamble and did a one-stop strategy. Is that kind of how you planned, or were you hoping for a caution there late and were surprised at the finish, or did everything just go as planned?
Yeah, we were talking about it at the start of the race, and as I started running there, I was realizing that I could probably do it. I was starting to chew my tires up a little bit too much, so I figured I needed to slow down anyways, and that was able to save a little bit of gas. And then once we went green all the way there to the pit stop, I was pretty much about a lap ahead before by the finish, and I was able to save another 2 laps in case we had a green-white checkered, and just kind of everything fell into place. I think it worked out perfectly. I don't know if I could have done any different.
Did you happen to look at your tire wear before you got out of there?
No, I didn't. I know I conserved a lot more on my second run than I did my first. First one, I was really trying to push to pass people, and second run was more on the fuel saving and making sure the tires were good for the end.
Well, I'll tell you what, solid finisher. Get you a podium here to start your weekend. You ready for the 24?
Yeah, I think so. After a little bit more practice tonight, I'm ready to jump in. I'm excited about it. It's going to be my first 24-hour race and really my first endurance race because the first one we didn't last very long.
All right, my friend. Well, hey, you got anybody you want to give a shout out to for your good finisher tonight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You and all the Gambler teammates had Tim and Zach in there tonight. That was fun talking with them. And Lynn Gear Company, Cool Ray, Heating and Air Conditioning and Plumbing. And that's about it. Coast to Coast and everything they put on.
Awesome, buddy. Well, hey, we'll see you probably a little bit later here tonight as we'll practice a little bit. So see you in just a few minutes, my friend.
All right, sounds good.
Yep. It's Jeff Kemper, our 3rd place finisher. And Travis, I think you've caught up with our 2nd place finisher, Colin Johnston.
I do. Hey, Colin, we talked about pit strategy for this one as usual in this NASCAR Xfinity division. You pit there halfway. What was it like there that second half of the race as you were trying to chase down Donovan up ahead?
I just didn't take care of my tires in the first run enough, so he got that gap on me of like 5-6 seconds, and then it was just the entire second run was trying to run him down, but that line I was running was quick, but just killing the right front. So the last 10-15 laps I really suffered with having to run him down in the beginning of it.
Did you go into this one expecting to cut the race in half? We talked about you had a couple different options. We saw both options, cutting it into thirds or cutting it into half. Was that a strategy you chose before the race?
Yeah, I kind of decided to split it in half before the race because I was thinking if there's a late yellow, I wanted the tires because they meant so much. So if I split it in the thirds or something like that, I wouldn't have that late set of tires at the very end, and I'd probably be down a lap, trying to make up that lap as well at that point.
John and I were talking about how cool it was that Coast to Coast decided to come back to a in real life defunct track like this. Had you ran a lot of laps here at Rockingham? And either way, what was the experience like tonight to come to a track that maybe isn't as used as much as others?
I've run a handful of races here, but not too many. Not even near as many as a lot of other tracks. But it's a lot of fun. But the track's extremely bumpy. So at 85 laps, green flag. If you're running that low line, it starts to wear on you when you're looking in the the sim, and it just keeps bouncing up and down through the corners.
Well, a great run for you tonight, coming home second as you're up 5 spots from your starting spot. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, Team Watson Racing Setups, Outlaw Designs for the car wrap. You guys for putting on the show. My wife for putting up with us all the time, and Roger for running the league and everything he does.
Well, great run here tonight, Colin. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. And we're going to throw it over to Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane, where John Hine has our winner.
I do. Donovan, this is John. You got a copy?
Good doing, Mr. Hine?
Doing well, my friend. Got a load of questions here for you. Where did you decide in your pit strategy? Was that something before the green flag flew, or is it something just kind of how the race was unfolding?
I have no strategy. I barely know what I'm doing in this thing. Zach and I think it was Tim had a pretty good pace on that first run, and they took off, and they had, a straightaway and a half a corner on me. And I figured the only way I was going to catch them is to let them burn their tire off maybe and run low on fuel. So I don't know. They went in, and I looked down. I had 5 laps of fuel left, so just kept going until I had no fuel left.
Well, I heard that you were kind of doing a diamond line there. You do know that this isn't a dirt track, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
How'd you find that? I guess is my question.
Well, I don't know. I just, like I said, I really don't know what to do other than watch the relative and keep making the gap grow. I could get in hot, get woed way up, and then turn it down and drive down the hill on both ends, really. But I did notice the more you did it, the more tire you'd run, you'd get rid of. So on the long run, it wasn't so good, I guess.
Yeah, I'm listening to your answers, and all of a sudden, all I can see is Ricky Bobby going, "I'm going fast."
I don't, thank God, I just, it's just been a great week for me. We've had some good runs this week, and, a lot of it goes to Keith, having Keith back. He's been so busy at work, and, he's got this asphalt stuff, much more figured out than I do. So, he's saying you just got to back your corner up, slow down to go fast. And, it worked on the long run.
Well, final race question I have. Did you happen to look at your tire wear when you got out of the car?
No. How do you do that?
You just go into the garage. You go into the garage as soon as you get out, and it'll show your current tire wear. So I was really curious how much you had left, because I know after the first pit stop, I was in the back just commentating, so I wasn't pushing. I was all the way down to 50%. And that was not racing. So when you cats are going, so I was really curious where you guys were at.
I don't know. I just felt like, I was being chased, so I had to go. As long as they were still black and round, I was going. So luckily we ran out of laps, and at the end there, I was watching the relative, and we were still making a little bit of time on. I think Cullen is who it was, and what the heck, we'll take it and get out of here.
Well, last question I have for you. Got any plans to run the 24?
God, no. I barely have enough attention to do 85 laps. I can't sit here for an hour or 2 hours or 10 or whatever it is. No,
24 there, yeah.
Yeah, no, not interested. Thank you very much.
Fair enough, man. Well, congratulations on another win. What is that, your second win this week, I think? So congratulations on a strong week here. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Like I say, that Keith and Jack spent a lot of time with me this week helping out. Greg and Gary are always good hands to bounce stuff off, and you guys for the league, and Roger, and you commentating and driving, and Travis doing what he does, and it's just been a good week.
Awesome, my friend. Well, have a good weekend, and I believe we'll see you Monday night again, huh?
Yeah, let's do it all over again, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's Donovan Ross, tonight's big winner in the Xfinity Series from the legendary Rockingham Motor Speedway. And Travis, what a night! We've seen it again. Pit strategy, good pit call there. Got him a win.
Yeah, great night of racing here on Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. It started on dirt at Lanier, ends here at Rockingham with Donovan Ross being your winner. Looking at the finishing order, it's going to be Roger Craig, your Flatline Racing Body's hard charger of the race. And as we mentioned, we will be at Kansas next week here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Well, another Thursday night comes to an end. I, as always, Travis Piercefield from Extreme eSpeed TV. Thank you, John, for joining us up in the booth here tonight. And we will see you again at another racetrack soon here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.